Monday, October 17th, 2017. No, Monday, October 2nd, 2017. Oh, and I do need to link the recording. Oops. And so this is here. Recording. So, Steve, do you want to start going through the position?
Yeah, actually now, I'm really very much excited about this session, and I can't, hold to wait more.
Steve?
And okay, guys, so
can you hear me? Steve?
Yes, I can hear you, Jay.
Did you say you want to help with the facilitation?
Yes.
So the next step is to help with the facilitation is to make sure we go through our rules. So I'm finalizing the recording, and then we want to go through our session rules.
Sorry. Okay, guys, so I'll be doing the facilitation as a training, and Jay will be our backup trainer for the session.
Actually, I'm the main facilitator, and you're a facilitator in training.
Okay. And who will take the opportunity for note-taking?
I'll help.
Can you guys say your name so we can get you down?
Joyce.
And timekeeper, Asif.
Okay, Asif, no problem. Yes, I will pick the time.
Okay.
Okay, video indexer. Lucy and Abdul, okay. Who will be, task and responsibility master?
Update. Which one?
Albina and Lucy. Session value tracking. It will be Asif. Who else?
Eileen.
Albina and Eileen. Okay, and session task responsibility verifier.
I'll do it. Me also, Eileen.
And what about master topic list?
The intro indexer is not applicable. I don't know why that's there.
Can somebody share the doc with me, please?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, it seems that we are pretty much done with the, and we can proceed to the check-in process.
Who's the information indexer?
Lucy.
All right, let's do check-ins.
I think we should start from Raju Asif.
Hello, everybody. I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm at 7.
Okay, so can we have Steve? Can you please check in?
Yes, I can check in. As it turns out, this is a very, very sad night for me. I just found out about 10 minutes ago that one of my oldest friends, a member of my wedding party, died in the shooting in Las Vegas last night.
Oh, no.
And another two good friends of mine are in the hospital, one in critical condition.
Oh, my God.
So I am here. Yeah, I just found out like 5 minutes ago. You know, they didn't have my new number. They had an old number for me that I don't use that phone anymore. And they actually sent me an email. And so I am here, but in body and soul, but in heart, I'm in Las Vegas right now. Otherwise, life is good. I'm here. I'm alive. The Lord woke me up. He does things for his own reasons. And let's get on with the session. Still have to work. Still have to do what we got to do.
All right, that's sad to hear, Steve. Okay, can we have Joyce? Can you please second? Joyce?
Hello, good morning, everyone. Nice to be in this session. I'm 6.5.
Okay, Eileen, you're next.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to attend this session today. Although I'm not feeling well, I have a cough and cold, but I'm trying. I'm at 5.
Okay. Eileen, if you want to take a rest, you can go ahead. It's up to you.
It's okay. It's okay. I can.
Okay. Abdul, can you please second? Abdul, can you check in, please? It seems that Abdul is not near. Okay, no worries. Okay. Albina, can you please check in?
Yeah, hi everyone. Today I feel so excited. This is my first time to attend the Venus session, so I'm happy about it. I'm at 7 today.
Good.
So I just want to mention here that we just hit the 10 mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So this is the point where we would require breaking up into 2 groups. I mean, eventually we'll get to the point where there could be 20, 30 people on the call, and it would literally take an hour just to do check-ins without splitting up. So it does actually make sense to break up into 2 groups literally in the middle of check-ins. But if people want to finish the check-ins before we break up, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out. Albina, did you finish? Did you have your number?
Yeah, I said I'm at number 7.
Lucy?
Okay. Hello, guys. Very happy to join this session. This is my second time, but the first one I did not participate. I was having a problem when the session happened. I'm happy to join this fully because everything is working on well, and also to learn the purpose of having a Venus session. Okay. I'm at 7.5.
Okay, so we have now Zillu with us. Zillu, can you please check in?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm pretty fine. I'm 6.
Okay, now that's me. Yeah, I'm really excited about the session, and it gives me a pleasure to join with you all people. And let's hope and cross our fingers to get more into this Venus session. And I'm at 7 today. Okay, Jay, can you please check in?
Sure. I'm doing okay. Probably around like 5.5. It's getting pretty late here. I am excited about the Venus session as well, and moving forward with our topics and priorities, and to see how things evolve. Check.
Okay, we can just quickly check in. Abdul, if we can check in quickly. Abdul, you there?
Abdul, you're on mute. You're muted.
Maybe he forgets he mute the phone.
You're muted, Abdul. Here, someone should try sending him a Skype message.
Yeah, let me do it.
Okay, Albina.
I already messaged him.
Great.
Albina already done.
I also did.
Cool. All right. So, all right. So let's go on to desired outcomes and topics. So I did put some preparation into our desired outcomes and topics. For desired outcomes, I had getting clarity on the Venus session and its executive purpose. The Venus session is the executive team of the global network. And then also to make sure we have a plan for our next 3 to 4 month goals. Are there any other desired outcomes that people have?
Hold on a second. We need to discuss operations as far as we need to discuss people not handling their responsibilities, and how I am going to, from now on, that I am taking it upon myself to check with everybody to see that they're doing responsibilities. I want to bring that desired outcome. Discuss responsibilities.
Cool. So we call that tactical ops management.
Thank you. I couldn't think of what, I just couldn't remember what we said earlier today. I apologize.
Yeah,
my head is not really functioning right now.
To make sure we have a plan on following up with people's responsibilities. I just say roles and responsibilities.
Right.
I think Abdul tried to join us, but it is full.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to break up into two groups. You forgot that. So Asif, are you gonna take the second group?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, okay, JJ, I'll go too.
And I need somebody with me who can co-facilitate after I get everything started up. But since we want our agenda to be basically the same, I would think we talked about that earlier. Well, I have it in our afternoon notes, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's also, you guys just use the same doc, right? You just like duplicate the doc, but I can be in the secondary hangout and be in both hangouts at the same time.
Right, I know you can. I know you can.
Hi guys.
Okay, I think, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to the...
Allow Abdul to check in, please.
Okay, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Sure. I'm pretty good today. And I'm better now. And definitely very good for this morning, so pretty good from my side now. So I'm 6 today.
Okay, I think me, Steve, and Eileen, Asif, Razu can move up to the secondary buddy team.
They need 5.
Okay, Steve?
It needs to be 5 people. It's 5 and 5. There's 10 of us, right?
And we can call up Albina as well.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, guys, come on, secondary hangout, please. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to the second hangout also.
Cool, and you guys can make sure that you are linking your new doc to our doc and vice versa.
Yes, I will.
So this is going to be a Steve. And then let us know who your runner is going to be.
I'll see if it's going to be one of the two us. I'll let you know who's going to be our runner. Okay, I'll let you know. They'll let you know.
Okay, just make sure you guys get all organized,
Okay.
and make sure you guys all get agreement on who the facilitator, everything's going to be, and you'll be good. And Asif, Steve,
Thank you, guys.
Albina,
Joyce.
Aline, and Joyce. Is that right?
No, sorry, Aline and yeah, okay, Joyce.
Joyce, yeah.
Do we have someone from the Australia here though as well, or not? Is there someone else from Australia?
I'm here.
I think let's so keep either Joyce or Aline, and then have it's a Asif Razu, right?
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Wait, no, Joyce is in Africa.
Joyce is in Africa. Yeah, that's what I was
always
thinking.
forget that. All right, so you can do Joyce if you want. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
No worries. Okay. So that's
Okay,
how I'm
let's
sending them.
Okay. Asif, can
Okay.
you, since you set it up, can you copy their doc, but copy it with a new. Do you know how to copy their doc, but put it onto a new URL?
Oh yeah, you just copy the doc. You just go to edit,
Right.
file, and then you say make a copy.
Right. That's what
Yeah.
you need to.
Just duplicate it, you will do it. Okay.
Cool. So I think I'm missing somebody. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people with us. So who am I missing?
I have 1,
Joyce.
2, 3. I have 4 also.
Okay, cool. Great.
I have 4 also.
Now you
now I have
have 5. Each have 5.
Now I have 5.
Yeah, yeah.
With you is 6. So go away, Jay. We don't need you anymore.
Okay. Are you sure you don't want to?
I enjoyed saying that. Sorry.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to finish the desired outcomes and topics? I guess we can have slightly different ones. It's fine. But I will get going, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah.
And we did have a meeting earlier, so I do have some idea what are going to be on the topics.
Well, it's also on the notes, so you have it right.
Yeah, if I can make my head start working, which I have to,
So
I'll be all
who
right.
are you guys missing?
We'll get
You
it
guys
all
are
done.
missing. You guys are missing somebody. Who are you missing? Albina. Albina is missing, right?
Yes, I think I'm supposed to have Albina.
I'll make sure Albina comes over. So Albina, where is it? Okay, she's not here either. All right. So we want to make sure Albina goes over there. Okay, so let's see here. Unable to connect to the Hangout. It shows. It shows you are full. Try again. We broke into 2 groups, main or secondary. All right, cool. Also want to add people here, so make sure we get everybody. So does anyone have any other desired outcomes?
Hello, guys.
Hi.
Yeah. Finally, I'm in.
Thank you.
I think our desired outcome to get more organized.
Okay, that one's good. So if someone could add that. Oh, also we need someone to be a runner. Does someone want to be a runner?
I'll be a runner, Jay.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any other
I have this outcome for this session.
yeah, what's your desired outcome?
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why someone put all of these topics here. We haven't even decided on our topics yet, so we can't know what the video indexing is yet. It's not possible.
Yeah, I'll delete them when we decide.
Okay. Get more organized. So what is your desired outcome, Thomas?
Okay, on today's morning bud team session, I had to assign topics that the priorities that I got. And I don't know how they are done, how they are all about. So I would like to know more about them. Okay, on EXA general operating contractor.
Okay, that would not be a desired outcome. That would be a topic.
Yeah, I would like to know the responsibility of those.
What was the other one?
And system processes.
Okay.
Okay, I assigned to those tasks, and for me, I don't know the responsibility of those managers, so I would like to know more about them.
Did you say managers?
Yeah, they are the managers. They are management. They are the managers' positions that we assigned.
Okay, cool. So it's really important to say that. So it's the EXA General Operations Contractor Manager, right? Contract manager, right?
Yeah.
Systems and processes coordinator. Okay, so it's important to note that it's a position.
Yeah, those are position.
All right, because if you only say systems and processes, we have no idea what that means. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. So next would be any other. Oh, and I guess we can put the desired outcomes as to better understand our positions and the work we need to accomplish. And then also, Thomas, if you can remind the second group to record, that would be good. And then also we want to link the notes to the second group here, you know?
Okay. In the second hangout, right?
Yes, the new second hangout. Although you can just write a simple Skype notification and just send that over.
Okay.
Also, people need to make sure you know how to refresh and update the contents of the notes. People haven't been doing that, so you need to just hit the refresh button every time so that it's correct. All right, any other desired outcomes? Okay, I'll take that as a no. So if we look at our topics here, we have intro to the African Community Network. Do people want to do that? Do we have like new people that want to go over the introduction? No. So we get rid of that. So the purpose of the Venus session, make sure that we go over the work reporting, hours tracking, and payroll verification. This is important. And specifically, I think this is for Eileen as well. Oh, no. This would be for...
So can you just an overview on Venus session, purpose of Venus session?
Yeah, purpose of the Venus session. What about it?
Just can you tell something in this Venus session about the Venus session?
Then we have the topic right here is our first topic, the purpose of the Venus session.
Okay.
Going over our work reporting, work hours, payroll verification to make sure that this is done correctly. And there's specifically, I think it was either Aline or who's the other new person?
Joyce?
No. Gail. Abigail. Yeah. So there's something that we want to go over there. Conflict evolution, make sure we have clarity. We have a couple policy proposals here. Responsibility organizing, super important. Tactical ops management, responsibilities and positions. New budget and value tracking systems, super important. But first, let's make sure we cover our executive roles. And Plasma and so that is correct. All right, I think that's a reasonable order. It's not perfect, but
hello, Jay.
Yep.
Okay, the other group has a problem in the recording.
Yeah, what's that?
Okay, they are requesting whether Lucy or anyone who is able to record can go and record for their session, because Abdul has a problem in connection.
So, like, if they use on new old secondary, that will be very fine, because in new secondary hangout there is not applicable at the same time. So when you join hangout, and at the same time you cannot record the session on YouTube. That's the major problem on new secondary hangout.
Well, you could always go. You could always go to the old secondary hangout. That's fine.
Yeah.
If it works better there. But I mean, there's like a bajillion ways to record. So they could just do a computer recording, or they could do the voice over IP recording. They do not have to do the YouTube recording at all. It's not required.
So I reach them and tell them you can do either of those.
Yeah.
So if they can't, they go to the old hangout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And what's this right here? Is this the link to the Google Doc? To their doc? Cool. And this isn't the second Venus session. This is the the Venus session group, the second group. Okay. So, and then this goes at the top, at the very, very top, right there. Good, you got it. Okay. All right, so I think this is a pretty good list of responsibilities here. I think we'll be pretty much able to get through all of this. And then we'll see if we can get through the rest of it. Any other topics that anyone wants to suggest?
I think for now those are enough. I think we have a lot.
Yeah, and can someone add this to the next steps and then delete it? Or this should go in the global topics list. Also, I want to note here that you guys are always saying this stuff wrong. Like, we don't need the Andromeda Master Topics list or the Andromeda Master Responsibilities, the Andromeda Master Task list. I mean, we just need the global team and the full team, okay?
Okay.
So you guys just be deleting that. And then if somebody can update this, I mean, this is old from the global topics list, and then delete it. You know, delete this. All right. And so whoever did this didn't start from the template. They started from some other session. Okay, so does this look good with for our primary topics, our main topics here? Oh, also, we do have a proposal for our new policy on wellness stretch or standing every 30 minutes. Does anyone, so this is a proposal. Does anyone object to this?
Proposal for?
So the proposal is that every 30 minutes we remind everyone to stand up and take a moment.
DJ?
Yeah.
They are saying that they don't have physical ability to record because most of them have problem in the network. So if they were requesting if there is somebody who has a good network and they know how to record, can move to their Hangout and record for them, please.
Abdul, do you want to go to the old secondary Hangout and record there?
Then there are no new Hangout. There are new Hangout, second Hangout.
Hi.
Hey, Nelly.
Hi.
So Abdul, why don't you go to the old secondary Hangout? Thomas, you tell everybody to go to the old secondary Hangout, and then we're good. Okay?
Okay.
Does that sound good, Abdul?
Yes, okay.
It's good to see you, all of you.
So Nelly, let's let you check in. You want to check in?
Sure. I'm really happy to be tonight with you. It's 12:30 here, but it's not too late, so that's why I'm able to be with you. I just went to the movies and saw the movie and watched the movie The Red Turtle. It's really good, so I'm okay. Thanks.
And what number are you between 0 and 9?
I feel a lot more better after the earthquake. I feel like 7.
7, cool.
Yeah, everything is getting into its place, so I'm happy.
Cool. All right, and so we add you to our late list. So this is Nelly, and you came in 1/2 hour late.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a quick proposal, but let's finish our topic list. So these are our topics. Are there any objections to our topics and our desired outcomes?
Could I please have the document?
Oh yeah, can someone link it to the Hangout, please?
Okay.
And just so you know, Nelly, we have another 6 people on the old secondary Hangout as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We got 2 groups.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's see. So there's going to be 5 minutes here. Purpose of the session shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. Conflict resolution shouldn't take more than 5 minutes. Responsibility organizing. This could take longer, 10 to 15 minutes. Tactical options management, it could take longer, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Executive systems, executive roles, 10 to 15 minutes. And our plan would be like 20 minutes. Yes, Thomas.
Yeah, they have already moved to the old second Hangout. And Albina has already linked their notes on our main doc.
Great, thank you, Thomas. We are good to go. All right, so any objections to our priority?
Also, I've not checked in. I've not checked in.
Oh, you didn't check in, Thomas?
No.
Okay, Thomas, please check in. And Nelly is here as well now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my morning is great. So great for this session. So for me, it's 6:05.
If they still have a problem to record, I have a link that they can record. They can use that one.
What is that link? Can you add it to the notes?
Okay. Let me add on the top there. Yeah, they just click and it records automatic. There is no problem with that.
Great. So if you can add that, if you can please add that to
this one, you can take the top.
Where did you link it?
I link at the top where you write recording.
Nice. That's great. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Any type of recording system is great. So that's can be another one we can use and look into. All right. So okay, we have our topics. There's no disagreement on the topics. So we're going to go into our first topic, which is the policy on wellness and sessions, right? Sessions and wellness. So do you think that you could Thomas, if you could send a quick note and let them know that, you know, if they want to do any of these sessions together, just to let us know, okay? But with that, we approved and came to agreement on our desired outcomes and topics.
Okay.
Like, there's no objections to our desired outcomes and topics, right? We're good. No objections. Okay. So yes, just send them a note so that they know that. All right, so policy on wellness and sessions. So basically the proposal is that every 30 minutes, we would remind everyone to stand up and take a moment. So it's been past 30 minutes, so if we approve this policy, we would make sure we do that every 30 minutes, and we should double check on our timekeeper. Double check on whoever's doing the notes is doing it all wrong, because it's like everything seems to be they're not all wrong, but just everything seems to be like big for some reason. All right, so so the proposal is that every 30 minutes, remind everyone to take a moment to stand. Every hour, we remind everyone, you know, to you know, go to bathroom or get water, etc., 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 right? Just to do personal business. And then every a maximum of 3 hours, to take a break.
I agree with that, yes.
And a break must be a minimum of 30 minutes to 1 hour. So that's basically the proposal. Nelly says yes. I say yes. Any questions on the proposal?
No, I also say yes.
Lucy says yes. Joyce says yes. Thomas?
Yes, also.
All right, so I think we have consensus on this one. So do we have a timekeeper? Nelly, did you, everyone voted? Yes.
I don't know if we have a timekeeper, but I can be the timekeeper.
All right, so Nelly, you're going to be our timekeeper. Say what, Lucy?
She can be timekeeper.
Cool. So Nelly is going to be timekeeper. Video indexers. Cool. So it looks like we are all good there. So let's go on to let's have this. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Although we're not on Sonic Team right now, we're in the Venus session. So use this to communicate. All right, sweet. So okay, so next topic is the purpose of the Venus session. So Thomas, did they say they wanted to do any of these together at all, or?
I'm waiting for their response.
You're waiting. Did you write the information into the Venus session Skype? The Venus session Skype.
Let me go to the Hangout and ask them.
Okay, but I don't see you writing anything in the Venus session Skype channel. That's where we would ask them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Like unless you write it here, it's like it doesn't exist. Like this is where we communicate between the two channels. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are you on this?
Yeah, I'm on that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So yeah, just go ahead and ask them and find out if they want to do any of these together. For example, we could go over the purpose of the Venus session together if they want to do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and also another thing we need to start doing is that with every single section, we want to have the project. Oh wait. Oh my God. Okay. Before I do anything, Nelly, you are the timekeeper, right?
Yes, we still have 2 minutes.
Yes, but you have this new type timekeeping role. which is that every 30 minutes we have to stand up. So it's been 10 minutes past the 30-minute mark, so you have to remind us to do that.
20 minutes. Okay.
Well, no, we're going to do it now, and then we're going to do it again in 20 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you have to remind everyone to stand up. Are you going to do it or not?
So now we stand up and take a moment, right?
Yeah, it's literally just a moment of standing up. But it's good to stand up for a second.
Okay.
And stretch, you know?
Okay.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, check in again in 20 minutes for that one, Nelly. Okay.
In 30 minutes, right? Okay, I'm
no,
starting now.
It's gonna be. Let me amend the proposal, so it's gonna be at the top and bottom of the hour. Okay, so every 30 minutes, the top and the bottom out of the hour. So if we start late, we still do it at the bottom and the top of the hour. So we're gonna do it in 19 minutes from now. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not really every 30 minutes. It's technically the top and bottom of the hour. Is that okay? Because that'll be a lot simpler to keep track of.
Actually, yes. Yeah. That will be better.
Way better. All right. So, so Thomas, are we ready just to go into the purpose of the Venus session, or do we need to link up with the other hangout? What happened to Thomas?
I think he's in the other hangout.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
So let's just mention here, we are moving forward with the purpose of the Venus session. Let us know if you want to connect. Here you go. All right, so what is the purpose of the Venus session? And who's doing notes?
I think.
Yes, I know.
I think. I mean, not the whole purpose, but one of the purposes is to
Nelly?
get. Yes.
So whoever's doing notes, you don't need to write the name of each person because we're a group, right? So you can delete the name.
The purpose is that we get together to be more organized, to be in the same page. I think that's very important to talk about new policies or how things should be done. I think that's one of the purposes, not the whole purpose, but one.
Nope, that's not exactly correct. I mean, it's not incorrect because all meetings are to do that, but all sessions are to do that, not just the Venus session. What is a little more specific to the Venus session within our structure? And it's add it to the top here to make sure it's still here. Yeah.
They say they are good to go, so they can do on their own on their hangout. That topic.
They're good for their own. Okay, cool. Okay. Any other thoughts on what the purpose of the Venus session is?
It's a plenary session. It's a plenary session, and we are focusing to organize all people time and scheduling the same time, and also our next goals for the organization.
Oh yeah.
Yes, goals. Goals are good. So what is going to be our length of our goal discussion today?
Second, please.
What's the length of the goals discussion today? Okay, anyways, so guys, so I'm asking you, what is the structural significance of the Venus session in the structure of the global network? Like I'm not asking you some random
Okay.
question. I'm asking you a specific question that can always be found on the main doc. All of these questions that I ask you guys are on the docs, like always. In fact, this particular question is at the top of this document itself. I'll even do it more. I'll even copy and paste it to the actual name of the doc itself. And it's all in our desired outcomes, right? It's the basis of our desired outcomes. It's the basis of all of our agendas here in bold and everything like that. Like, come on, guys. What is the purpose of the Venus session?
I mean, if it's not checking the structure and be organized, I'm all wrong.
You're not all wrong. It's like those are great things to do, but you do that at all. You get organized at all meetings. Like, so there's a specific structural. Do you guys understand that every single meeting has a structural purpose? Right? What is the quarter moons? What's the purpose of the quarter moons? Quarter moon session are the management are the global management steering teams, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe Dennis, we should check for
What is the purpose of the full and new moons?
coordination.
No, everything does coordination. What's the purpose? What is the structural significance of the full and new moons? Guys, these are not like if you guys if you don't know the answer, you just go to the main doc and you find it, or you go to the top of this doc and you find it. Or you just look at the desired outcomes and the topics for today and you find it. Like, these are not like some random things you just need to guess. You guys understand what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
For a month, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, actually, it's not 2 to 3 months, but you're closer. It's better than saying nothing. It's 3 to 4 months. But why is it 3 to 4 months? It's 3 to 4 months because that's the length of the Venus session. Okay. How many people have opened up the global main doc? How many people have opened up the global main doc?
Also to check on the executive systems.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God. Wow. I don't understand why it takes us so long to get these things. It's insane. It boggles my mind. The executive systems. Yes.
Yes.
Like you guys this should be literally, it should have taken 3 seconds to say that instead of 10 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, if we just keep going for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, like, and you guys can't answer these questions, it's just going to get extremely difficult.
Actually, we need to move on to the next topic.
No, what we need to do is people need to step up and just, like, be focused. You know what I'm talking about? Like, don't we all know that this is an executive team meeting, or am I missing something?
Yes. So, because it's clear.
Okay, so we need another 5 minutes because it took 5 minutes for you guys simply to say executive meeting when yet it was listed, right?
Yes.
In our topics, like 3 or 4 times, right? Executive roles, executive sessions, and is the main desired outcome for the executive purpose of the Venus session. And it's at the top of our document that this is the global executive team, and it's the title. Yet it took us 5 minutes just to say that this is the global executive team. Right? So I don't know why we make these problems, but it's like, that's what you guys are being paid to do, is to understand how all this stuff fits together. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how to get people to understand these things, but I'm not asking you guys random questions, and I'm not asking you guys just to randomly brainstorm all this random stuff that is not applicable. I'm asking you just to say the actual specific thing that is a known thing that you can look up on the doc or look up in the main doc, or that it exists somewhere, right? You don't need to guess. It's always there. And if you don't know where to look, ask where to look. Where can I find that information? And I'll tell you. In fact, I said 5 times to look in the main doc. How many people looked in the main doc? Or at the top of this doc? Or I said it. And you guys, it's like you guys didn't do it.
I was checking the main doc.
All right. Anyways, I just need to calm down and relax and just realize that it takes a little longer. All right. So give us another couple minutes on this one. So what is an executive? What is it? What does an executive do?
To share the meeting.
Say what?
Sharing the meeting and discuss the issue of the company.
That's good one. Discuss the issue of a company. Okay, so I would rephrase that as in like discuss the purpose and goals of a company itself. Okay, so what's really interesting about this particular statement that Lucy made is that it doesn't say the goals of the work that needs to get done. It says the goals of the company. What is a company, right? A company is equal to a legal entity. Okay, so the bottom line is that executives do 2 things. They do one, they do oversight, and they specifically oversee the managers, the management and managers. And then 2, they do executive legal decision. Okay. So does anyone want to phrase what that is in their own words? Like, what does it mean to oversee something and to make legal decisions? And this would be separate from management decisions.
It will be different from management?
Yeah, so legal decisions and management decisions are separate. They're 2 separate, very, very separate things.
Okay.
So if anyone can put in their own words the idea of like, what does it mean to oversee something, oversight, and what does it mean to make executive legal decisions?
I think that legal decision is about the creation of the community, like if we need to do taxes, if we need to do anything with the government to be up to the day and be able to keep working. And management is inside the company, inside the community.
I really like that. Yeah, I think that's really clear. And the only thing I would add to that is that legal decisions, I like the idea of the creation of the community. I like to define that as the relationships between the people and organizations involved, including the relationship with the government.
Hi, Jay.
Yeah, what's that?
Jay, this he was asking that you have shown some couple of proposals. So are we good to go enough now, or shall we, vote them in the later?
I don't understand. What's the question?
Steve is saying that you have proposed some proposals, right? Do you have to go for election for these proposals?
We approved a proposal, specifically the policy for wellness in session. So this is the proposal that every 30 minutes we stand up. So in 6 more minutes, we're going to stand up and then remind everyone that if you need to go to the bathroom or get water or something, that you can do that. And that's going to be at the top of the hour, right? And then at the bottom of the hour, remind everyone just to stand up.
Okay. Thank you, Jay.
And so you guys should also approve that proposal or change it and send it back to us or whatever. Does that make sense? But you don't have to do it right now. You guys can put it. You can finish whatever you're on and then come back to it.
Oh, okay, that would be better, I think.
Yeah, and we will let you know anytime we approve any other proposals. But yeah, Thomas, anytime we approve a proposal, you would automatically go and send that message over to the next group.
Okay, I'll do that then.
Perfect.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Asif.
Thank you.
All right, cool. All right, so back to the executive role. So management decisions are like exactly what Nelly was just talking about, that they're inside the community or inside the organization. So management decisions typically are about the responsibilities, you know, projects and actual work that we're doing. Okay, like legal decisions are more like about the relationship of the people involved in the ownership and decision making of the company itself. So legal decision making is very high level, whereas management decision making is just making decisions, day-to-day decisions. So this is typically day-to-day, week-to-week, day-to-day, week-to-week, right? Whereas legal decisions are typically month-to-month, quarter-to-quarter, year-to-year, okay? So legal decisions don't happen very often. All right. So an example of a legal decision would be like the equity value of somebody's relationship, of their ownership, or their percentage stake in a decision. And an example of a management decision would be more like, you know, just making sure someone gets paid the amount of money that they've already been agreed to, right? Cool. So does that make sense? Are there any questions on the legal decisions versus the management decisions?
No, not for me.
Great. So what about oversight? We need to talk a little bit more about oversight.
Yes.
And I'll just say one other thing on the decision making, which is that the executive team is the first level of legal decision making. So everything below the executive team is what's called management decision making, and then the executive team is the first time you get into legal decision making, and so it's a little different. Okay.
I think oversight position, oversight is to holding with the coordinator and the projects and outputs that have to get done.
Sorry, I kind of missed that. What were you saying?
I am talking about the oversight, the management and managers. So it's about oversight is meanings for the holding the coordinators and the projects, the deliverables, and the outputs also.
Can anyone translate for that? I didn't understand. Are you talking about oversight or what?
Yes, I'm talking about oversight.
Okay. Do you want to say it again?
Yes, the oversight is means project that have the coordinators holding with the coordinators accountable, and that the projects delivers out deliverables and outputs.
All right, that was perfect. Perfect right there. So you have oversight, you've got coordination, you've got responsibilities, and then you have tasks, right? So oversight is holding the coordinators accountable. That was exactly correct, Steve. Perfect. So coordinators don't necessarily even do anything. You assign tasks, assign and manage workers, right? So coordination and management, right? Oversight, specifically executives, are holding the coordinators accountable to what they're supposed to do. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
So the roles of executives and the executive team is much more about oversight, holding people accountable to what they're supposed to be doing, and in making legal decisions. And it's the first level of legal decisions. There are it's the first stable level, right? So these are the levels of legal decisions. You have membership decisions, board decisions, executive decisions, and then urgent or emergency decisions. We mainly function off of urgent emergency decisions, but all urgent and emergency decisions are brought to the executive team to be reviewed and approved. So do you guys need a an example of an urgent or emergency decision?
Yep.
Yes. Yes, please.
So the best one would be the budget. Right, so the budget should technically be approved by the board decision. So all budgets get approved and are brought to the board, but we have approved the budget and we are spending money without a formal board approval. And so that would be considered an urgent emergency decision that's then brought through the executive to the board, okay?
Okay.
All right, so, and also another example is that we hire people. So budget and hiring. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. I think we're ready to move on. Are there any questions about the purpose of the Venus session and specifically the executive team?
No, it's very clear for me.
Okay, so there's one other thing I should mention is that the Venus session is also a public session. In the future, the Venus session will have a public aspect, and anyone can use this space and time for any topic or any meeting. Okay, so we use it for the executive team, but other groups and other people will use it potentially for other discussions and other activities. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's go on. Any last question before we go on?
I'm okay with this information. Just that it's nice that it's clear now.
Great. And then again, we want to always be doing the project category. So the project category for the purpose of the Venus session would be, you know, structure and process / I don't know. Let me see if I can remember. So many projects. So it would either be, actually, let's just do session support. Systems, processes, yeah, that'll have to do. So structure, process, systems, and session support, okay? And then the other thing that we want to start doing is we want to start tracking within the video indexing. We want to be tracking how long each session takes, right? So it's like, how long did it take us to do the policy proposal? How long does it take us to do the purpose of the Venus session? So you'd want to say, you know, like it started at 42:50 minutes. So then what is the stop time? You know, stop at, you know, question mark, and then we'll know how long it is so that you can say how long the trainings are, okay? So we need to start tracking that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the next topic is to make sure we go over the work reporting, hours tracking, payroll verification. So this one was for you, Nelly.
Okay.
Oh, wait, Nelly, I just remembered. It is the top of the hour. So bathroom break, water break. I need to go get some water. Everyone should stand up and just really quickly. Okay, I'll be right back, and then we'll do this topic.
Me also toilet break.
Cool. I got my water, which I needed because I was really thirsty.
Okay, so let me start the clock.
Again, you don't need to start the clock. It's going to be at the bottom of the hour.
Oh, no. Start just because we have 5 minutes on this topic. That's why.
Yes. Yeah, you want to start the clock for that. But yeah, but generally speaking, these top of the hour and bottom of the hour breaks are going to be very, very quick, like 30 seconds, 1 minute, or less, right? But if you need to take longer, just do it. Go to the bathroom, do whatever you need to do. All right. So Nelly, this one's you.
Yeah. So it's very important to know that we have a new policy with
it's not a new policy. It's not new. It's old policy.
Yeah, it's the policy of the work reporting, how we track the hours, because there are 4 steps, if I remember correctly. First is to make sure we go over the work reporting, then see the hours tracking, and then we do the payroll verification. That's I'm missing 1 point.
I think I wrote them down in our buddy team. I'm gonna look it up here.
Yeah. Let me check. Give me just 1 second.
I got it open right now. It's just going really slow. No, maybe I didn't write them down. I don't see it.
I do got it. Give me just 1 second. So it's very important that we all follow the policies. So what we do first is when we are tracking our hours, there are overall hours, which is like how long like the body team session was, or how long quarterly session was. But then we are also making like a subdivision with the working credits, okay? So
I found it. I found it, Nelly.
I'm sorry?
I found it. I found the 4 steps. I found the 4 steps.
I found it too. I think it's here.
I have it already, Nelly. I found it. I got it.
Oh, okay, thanks. So, yes. So first, what we need to do is that there are the hours that one body team lasts, for example, 2 hours, 3 hours. But then the real working credits, it's going to be only what we actually work like in client work, assigned work. So obviously it's not going to be the same as the body team session, because perhaps the body team session lasts 2 hours. But in that time, you also have to organize, you have to create a document, and obviously that's time that you are not doing assigned work, okay? So the working credits is going to be less, like 1.5 hours. For example, like doing only work, like concentrating, doing only but work. Okay. So what we do first is that we all have to make sure that we track our work credits and our hours for the work reporting. This is a responsibility of each of us, okay? Then we have to update the work time and pay the spreadsheet. That is also a responsibility of each one, okay? We have to put all our information, all of our hours into the work time and pay spreadsheet. That's very important. And then after that, somebody will do the payroll verification. Okay, someone will have that responsibility to do the payroll verification, checking that the hours match with what they actually track on their work report. So after that, what we do is we run the payrolls and we do the real-time finances. Those are the 4 steps into the tracking hours. I don't know if someone
perfect.
Have any question about that.
Yeah, that's perfect, Nelly. I think the main thing that everyone needs to understand is that Abigail and other new people were involved in doing, I believe they were updating the work time and pay spreadsheet. And we need to make sure it's really clear that updating the work time and updating spreadsheet is a different responsibility than payroll verification is a different responsibility from work, work reporting and tracking, right?
Exactly.
Which is a different responsibility from running the payroll, right? So these are all different responsibilities. And so when you're updating the work time and pay spreadsheet, you need to make sure that you're tracking the hours that people worked, right? And so let's give a quick example. Can I just use your work report, Nelly?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Do you want to just link that on the Hangout real quick?
Yes, I'm going to link that right now. Okay. Where is it? Oh, here it is. There you go.
Cool. So if you see here on Nelly's work report here, she's she's getting started with the Venus session. She did a buddy team with me earlier, and she did 45 minutes of actual work, right? But we did an hour buddy team session. Or here she did 3 hours with Lilia and Jorge, but she worked on the master ledger for the client. And it's really important to make sure this is EXA clients, right? EXA client master ledger, right? Otherwise, if you don't write EXA, then you don't know it's EXA. That makes sense?
Yes.
And that's 2 hours of worker credits. And then this is EXA weekly value tracking, which is a half an hour of worker credits. So the idea is that she worked for 2.5 hours on EXA client work, which is 2.5 of the 3 hours that she did, I'm assuming, or maybe this is supposed to be 2.5.
Yes, 2.5.
But she worked for 3 hours, and we're going to pay her for 3 hours. Does that make sense? You guys understand that she worked for 3 hours, and so she's going to get a total of 4 overall hours between the 3 hours for this and the 1 hour for that. But she did, for the client work, she did 2.5 hours here. And for payroll and document organizing, this would be FQN assign work, okay? And this isn't necessarily output hours, but this would be what we call production hours. Unless you actually finish the blocks, that's not output. So, but anyways, we can talk about that another time, okay? Sweet. All right. Any questions about?
Yeah. Is it then? Are we supposed to track our hours alone, or anyone can put by the end of the week? It is a duty to each and responsibility to update their own hours. Then we will have someone to do verification instead of going and check on someone's work. We will check on when you go and verify it, if they are doing the right thing, putting there or what. Instead of going and track someone, you go and add again. You know, some other people, they don't usually put their work. They don't add. It is also sometimes hard. I think it is also good if each an individual, by the end of the week, they supposed to put their hours. It's just like one second. You just update your hours. Then someone will come and do verification. Is that what you think you are talking about, Nelly?
Nelly, did you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
I thought I was already speaking. So actually what you're saying is exactly that. When we track the hours when doing the verification, preparing to pay for payroll, what we do is that we are going to track the overall work hours, okay? We are really not going to pay attention to the work credits at first. we are going to do it later when checking about the outputs and when checking the time work on the client. That's why we are going to separate the work credits from the overall work hours. Okay, that's very important to know when doing preparation for payroll.
Yeah. So I can give an example here. There's one other aspect that I think is helpful for people to understand here before we move on. And there's another responsibility that's called, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's, oh, Nelly? Yeah?
We don't have time.
Well, let's just do one.
Yeah.
Let's just all the timekeeper needs to do is say that we're out of time. We hit the mark, and so then we could do an extra minute. But then if we're 1 minute over, you let us know. But again, the timekeeper, we got to get way better at timekeeping. It should be like,
I know.
You know, 2 minutes done. We have 2 minutes left. We have 1 minute left. We have 30 seconds. You know, it's like 1 minute over. You know, so just
yeah.
All right. So anyways, we just need 1 more minute. So there's another responsibility. It's called the midweek review of worker hours, right? And it's basically you're reviewing the total hours versus assigned hours, right? And so assigned hours should equal to 50% of time, and then eventually client hours should be 25% time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So basically what that means, as an example, if you look at Nelly's work report, she would go into the spreadsheet of team, hours, and pay. And you go down to Nelly. And here's Nelly right here. So we would go to this week, which is October.
I haven't put it yet this week.
I know, that's why I'm doing it. I'm showing how it's supposed to go. It's an example. Okay. So here's October 1st. And so Nelly would be 4 hours that she worked. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd come down here, and this is by midweek, by Wednesday every week, everybody's supposed to be updating their assigned hours and client hours so that we can compare it for the midweek check-in, right? So the midweek check-in is to make sure people are actually doing work that they, well, no, it's not just about tracking their hours, it's about that they're actually doing work.
Okay.
Right? So at that point, it's like she has 2.5 hours of client hours and 0.5 hours of initial output. So we would do Nelly. So we find Nelly, and she has assigned hours of
3 hours, I think.
Well, it would be 3 hours of assigned task. Yeah, here it is. Assigned task and responsibility hours 3. And so that would be 3. And then she did 2.5 hours of client hours. And she did a initial output, 0.5 initial output.
Yes.
Okay, does that make sense?
So, okay. What's the difference between SQN output and client output?
A lot of things have output, but client output means we get paid for it. That's the difference.
Yes.
So FQN output means it's something that we are doing. For example, our payroll for paying us is necessary, or we can't work for the client. But when we do client payroll, it's actual client output, as opposed to FQN payroll is FQN output.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Any questions? I think we're ready to move on.
Yes, we need to move on.
And just to remind you guys, this should all be getting updated by the midweek, right? So everybody should be updating, and that would be another responsibility, is like every worker updates their hours and pay midweek for the midweek check-in. And then someone takes on the responsibility of reviewing all of the hours to see if people are actually doing assigned hours and assigned work. So if you're brand new, like Joyce or Aline or even an Abigail and other people who are brand new, and they are doing like 100% of their time training is regular hours. That is not assigned work, because you're not actually working, you're learning. So when you first get hired, it could be many weeks, if not an entire month, where you're not even 50% of your time won't even be spent working, because you're still just learning how to do things. Does that make sense?
Jay, I think this is very important even for new recruits. I don't know where we are going to add this information, because I think it's very important, and you just summarize it very, very good. I don't know if put it into payroll or.
Well, no, we have a perfect place to put it, right? So basically, if you go into everyone's main doc, and this is actually another responsibility.
Yes, I think it's a very good idea. Yeah.
Here, give me 1 minute on this. So this is another responsibility someone needs to do, and this is to update everyone's work main doc to include the link to the responsibilities for all workers and the link to the new recruit training videos doc. Okay? So mine probably doesn't have these links because I probably just don't have it. Link to new spreadsheet of training videos. What? No, that's not it. That's the spreadsheet.
I'm checking mine, but I don't think I have it either.
Yeah, so that's an important responsibility that we know to make sure that every main doc has that. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to go into the project virtual drawer, and I'm going to pull up the personnel support HR doc, and this will have a lot of the information that we are looking for. Specifically, we want, well, I mean, any of the new people's main docs would have what we're looking for.
Yes.
So if anyone wanted to just pull up that, that'd be good. But the other one that I can do is the onboarding.
I'm going to give you one.
The onboarding process doc definitely has the template main doc. So the template main doc will have everything we're looking for. Here it is, the template main doc. All right, there it is. And
okay, so here, I'm going to send you the Ilias main doc.
I have it right here. So there's the training video doc for new workers.
Yeah.
And that it goes into our Venus session right here. So I'm going to put it right under this new responsibility. And then also the other one is the responsibility doc for all workers. Okay, so in this training videos doc right here, Nelly, we're going to have the list of the top 10 most important videos for new recruits and all workers to watch. Okay.
Okay.
And so we still have 3 more here, and so we want to add this one. So this would be the one on work, tracking your hours, and that part. Okay. So we can add that right here.
Yes. I think it's
Don't you think that's a good place to add it?
It's like the main thing all the people should know. Yes.
Well, they need to know how to create and link a doc, adding docs to global. They need to know about work reporting. We have another work reporting, but this would go like right after work reporting. How to update and actually do the midweek check-in and all that kind of stuff, And then they do responsibly organizing, which we're going to talk more. And then there's overall personnel policies, recording, calendar scheduling, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so here, this one would add in, what do we just call this? This would be
responsibility for all workers.
No, this is updating the your hours and pay spreadsheet. Okay. All right, and then we will be talking more about doing the hours of work credits, and how this is going to go to the client work report. We will be talking more about that hopefully later, okay? So I think we're ready to move on.
Yes. We need to move it.
Cool. So now we are doing the conflict evolution. Is Zilu here? Yeah, we have Zilu. Okay, great. All right, so briefly, just so everyone knows, I basically yelled and screamed and lost my cool with both Zilu, but primarily Abdul. around all this responsibility organizing thing, and it was just too much, and it was not good, and it was, and I apologize a lot. I don't think we really have a conflict, but there's two things we want to get out of this. One is that we want to make sure workers know their rights around executives and how to hold executives accountable, right? Because if I break the rules, I am just as accountable to all of the rules as anyone else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in that, I think there was a power dynamic and difficulty between me and Abdul and Zilu, where it was like, you know, especially with Abdul, you know, where got really nervous and concerned and upset, and so that's one proposal. The other thing is really just around making sure that everyone understands the procedures for general conflict evolution processes. Okay, so for what you do if a conflict occurs and how to address it in a professional way. Okay, so I'll start there. So the number one thing for conflict evolution is to address it. You know, address it immediately. For example, I apologized immediately to Abdul and to Zilu to a certain extent, you know, and just tried to improve upon the situation as soon as I could once I realized that I had overstepped my boundaries, right? If you don't know what to do, you can just talk to a buddy. Talk to a buddy, and we do conflict mediation, we do conflict resolution, and the list goes on and on and on. There's a whole bunch of processes that we go through if conflicts occur. And part of approving our policies, and we do actually need to make sure we add that into our agenda, is the, I forgot to add into our agenda, the methodology proposal. So when we approve the methodology proposal, that includes our conflict evolution processes. So obviously we're not going into detail in it, but are there any questions about our conflict evolution processes?
I know that, no doubt, just want to add that every time that we evolve in our processes is always for the better. At least is what I've seen.
Definitely, yeah, and that's why we call it conflict evolution, because going through a conflict, when you get out of it, you become stronger and you evolve.
Yes.
Yes. Because we're not just trying to mediate, we're not just trying to resolve things, we're trying to evolve and actually grow and learn from the problems that arise. It's healthy. Because we're not trying to avoid conflict, we're trying to embrace and learn from it and learn from each other and realize that we all have different cultures, we all have different breaking points and different buttons. And so conflict is actually a natural process and a natural cycle. And so if we try to avoid conflict, it's kind of like an earthquake. You just create more and more tension, and eventually it breaks even bigger than you'd ever want it to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any other questions on the conflict evolution?
I think we are 1 minute to move on.
Yeah. Yes, I want to understand, Jay. Most of the time, like when I was sending the message over the Hangout, Steve always getting so hard to me. How can you deal with such a person? Because he just feel like he's a very superior. He cannot listen to others. Like during Kwatamun, he spent almost 1 hour without doing nothing. He was the only person communicating. And he just gets you to the middle and just speak until the end of the time. When you try to ask the question, he starts being rough to you. What should you do with such a thing?
Cool. So the first thing to do is bring it up like you just did, right?
Yes.
So as a facilitator, this isn't quite the space to bring up a specific conflict, because we're going to be talking about me and Zilu and Abdul and not you and Steve, but what we do is we put it into the next steps, right? So we go up to next steps, and we would talk about Steve. Another key thing to consider about the next steps for this particular topic is that it's specifically a management question. So the best place. Oh wait, did someone add this to the global topics list? Who is the person that's dealing with the task responsibility?
The master task.
Albina, Lucy, this needs to go into the master topic list, and then I wanted to delete it because it's left over from before. It shouldn't even be here. So basically, this is a topic. That's our symbol for topic, and what we do is we say this would be a management discussion on Steve/Lucy, right? So that would be the best place for this to go, would be into the Mercury session. As far as a group discussion and group topic, but you should bring this up into other buddy teams. You know, talk about it with me in the Sonic session. We should, maybe me, you, and Steve can have a discussion and address it. And then we just want to address it as soon as possible and understand what's going on. Does that make sense, Lucy?
Yes, because even people are getting scared now when you tell them to announce the session, because he was complaining so much, waking him up. After writing the message, he's still coming during the quarter, talking the same thing, and that's not the first time it is still attacking.
Okay, but again, as a facilitator, we agree when we're going to talk about it, but we don't talk about it now. Do you understand? Okay. So you talking about Steve's issues is not an acceptable place, because one, that usurps Zilu, it usurps Abdul, it usurps the entire agreement of the agenda that we made together, and so you're pushing your issues ahead of everybody else's. Does that make sense?
No, okay.
So what we say is that we agree to talk about Steve and his role there in the relationship of the questions at the appropriate time, right? For example, if you want to talk about it today, we can add it to our agenda for today, and we might get to it, but there's no guarantee that we're going to get to it, right? Because you didn't prioritize it. You could have prioritized it, but you chose not to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. So right now we have it in our next step, so we could also add it to our topics like that, right? So then it's in our agenda for today, but we may not get to it because there's so many other things to get to. Does that make sense, Lucy?
Yeah, I did not just bring that question for necessarily maybe we talk about it. It is just that an example of seeing as a thing. What should we do? That's the only thing.
I know, but you're going beyond just the example. You're talking and you're saying things about Steve that he might be very upset about. So you're creating conflict. Does that make sense?
It's okay.
Yeah, of course it's okay. It's perfectly fine. But I'm just making sure it's clear that by saying something like, you know, Steve did something bad and like all this stuff, Steve. One, you're not using nonviolent communication, you're using very violent communication. Because you're directly accusing Steve in a space where he can't defend himself, and two, you're pushing it as a major issue ahead of the example, right? It's more, all you have to say for an example is, I have an issue with Steve in the way he talks about, you know, within the quarter moon session. That's all you have to say. Does that make sense? And I didn't say anything conflictory. I didn't say anything about Steve. I didn't say anything about you, but I brought the topic up and I made it clear what the topic is without needing to actually go into the conflict itself. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So step one is to bring it up, and prioritize the issue within the buddy team or a group session, right? That makes sense?
I think, yeah, it's very important when we have a situation or a conflict, exactly that, to just not continue the conflict with the person. Just wait to find somebody that can help, like a mediator of that situation. But not talk to the person until we do that first. Find a mediator.
Yeah, except the only difference of that is that step 0 is that you directly and immediately address the issue in the moment, right? So if you're able to address the issue in the moment, for example, me and Lucy were talking, and I made it really clear to Lucy that it's inappropriate to go into the conflict right away, and we addressed it and it's dealt with, right? So we'll bring it up in the future. But if you're not able to address it in the moment, then you need to bring it up and prioritize it within a buddy team or a group session, and then schedule a personal session as needed to address the issue between the people that you need to talk to. Like maybe step 1 is to try to talk to them again at another time if you feel comfortable, right? But maybe you don't feel comfortable in doing that, so then you bring it up to someone else or the group, and et cetera, et cetera. But you should make sure before you bring it up to a whole group, make sure the person involved knows. Does that make sense? Like ideally they would know. Otherwise, bring it up to a buddy team session and talk to somebody, a third party, right? So when I say bring it up to a buddy team, this would be a third party, someone else who's not involved.
Yes, I think there's these steps are really good to deal with it. Yes.
Yeah, and again, this is all pre-conflict, right? It may be post-conflict, but this can all happen before the conflict evolution process.
Yes.
And then,
we need to take a break.
Oh yeah, just a standing break. It's a quick little 10-second standing break, and you can do quick stretching. See? Oh. And we could even do bouncing. Bouncing's good too. All right. It's just really good to stand up like every half hour, because you sit down for 3 hours, 4 hours, it's really bad for you.
It's tiring a little bit. Even I have to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So back on track.
So sorry again if you hear my dog snoring, but sorry about that.
That's funny. All right. So then after, if none of this can address the situation, then you go into the actual conflict evolution, conflict mediation, conflict resolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? All right. Any other questions on conflict evolution process? So someone needs to index this into the conflict evolution process doc. I think we actually might even need to create one. Maybe like create.
I don't think we have one. We have to create one. We don't have it.
Yeah. Cool. So someone could take care of that. That would be great. All right. So, all right. So in terms of me,
Jay?
Yeah.
Jay, can I just add that I remember now, I'm not addressing about the conflict, but I remember one of the reasons of the conflict was the changing of the calendars, because Steve was saying that the calendar was changed and the reminder just came that moment to him, and we were already starting an hour earlier.
Yeah. So I mean, just to really quickly address the policies, like the policies are clear. One policy is that we do not Skype people when it is the middle of the night, right? Use email instead. The other policy is that, if the session starts early, then everyone gets early session credits, right? And so if you are on time to a session that started early, then you are not late. Does that make sense?
So then we should not do a reminder because you will wake other people up.
Oh, you
Because
do
when
a
you do
reminder.
the reminder, maybe on your side you are sleeping, and I'm wake up. When you are not sleeping, maybe it will be my time. It will be sleeping, and you guys sit daytime. And what is the appropriate time that if you want to update like a Venus session, the other session that's coming?
Like I would never do an update on Skype in the Sonic team until in my time it's 7:00 p.m. at night, because that's when people get up for the Sonic from the Sonic team. I would never ever do anything to the Sonic team until at least 7 p.m. my time, and that's the Sonic team. But the Andromeda team I can do throughout the day, but I wouldn't do Andromeda team updates after 12, or like even 10 p.m. my time, but then I could still be updating the Sonic team at that time. Does that make sense?
What about full moon session if you want to update?
The full moon session, you would send an update at right before the full moon session, like a half hour before or whatever, to remind everyone it's about to start.
Okay, then there is no need of reminding people. Me, I will usually maybe forget it. Maybe I thought that everyone is on the same time. I don't think whether can Skype wake you up.
What I recommend to everyone, that's what in the Andromeda team we are doing this. We check every day the Google Calendar, and we check for the sessions or future sessions, and we program our calendars, our personal calendars, with reminders.
Wait, Nelly. Our policy is that we set up automatic reminders into the actual sessions themselves. Like, it doesn't make sense to put it only into your personal one. You put it into the overall one, and it reminds everybody.
We put the reminders for everyone, but in case for example, for me that I'm a little bit organized or obsessed with that, I also do another personal reminder of the sessions ahead of time.
Okay, but I mean, I don't see any reminders myself. Like if I open the calendar right now, I don't think we're actually doing the reminders, but anyways, let's add this to next steps. So someone can add it to next steps.
The planetary sessions and the moon sessions, we invited everyone.
Well, I know you invited everyone, but you didn't set reminders. So anyways, I feel like right here you would have to add notification, but you guys didn't do that. See?
Okay.
So you can add a notification, 10 minutes before, 1 hour before, X number of days before, X number of weeks before. Okay. So anyway,
do we agree right now how long before, like 15 minutes before or a day before? Maybe it should be like general for everyone, right?
No, I mean, we have a process. It would be like, at the start time, an hour before, a day before, and then if it's like a big session, you maybe even do a week before, even a month before, right? For the big ones.
Okay.
Cool. So anyways, I think we just need to put that onto the next steps list, right? Can someone do that, or do I need to do that? I'll do it if no one else wants to do it. So we add to next steps, right? Our communications and notifications for sessions, and this will be part of session support, okay? That makes sense? Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So right now is not the appropriate time to talk about the policies of our communication notifications for sessions. We're talking about conflict evolution.
Yes. I'm sorry about that.
All right. So let's go into the Zilu, Abdul, and Jay issues. So first of all, I did my best to address it as soon as possible. I apologize profusely. I'm very sorry to Abdul and Zilu, and I pushed it way too far and crossed the lines. So I mean, overall, the way I look at it is that I don't have any problems at this point. Abdul has completed the whole process around responsibility organizing, so that's great. So basically, Zilu is now officially fully, level 4 and can do everything he needs to. Not Zilu, Abdul. With Zilu, we still need to verify that you know how to do the responsibility organizing. But if either Zilu or Abdul had an issue and wanted to address it, then they could go into these steps with the conflict evolution, which would be perfectly fine. But I think it would make sense to address some of the proposals that I had made. Let me see if I can find them. Where would I have these proposals?
So we have like 1 minute to go to the next topic, Jay.
A minute, huh? Well, let's take at least a couple more minutes because I really would like to address these proposals. Where are they? So me, Asif, and Lucy. So once I had the problems with Abdul Zilu, I had a meeting with Asif and Lucy, which was step 3, right? To make sure that I got help. So proposal, here's the main proposal right here. At any time, anyone can say that they're a low level 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and need to stop or take a break, step back, right? If people's too nervous, they're too sick, anything, that sometimes it's better to stop and take a break, especially when it's turning conflictatory, right? And issues come up, right? Issues come up. So one of the things that happened is like Abdul got so nervous because he was so concerned about, like, I was like swearing and just saying like why aren't you responding? Why don't you guys understand? And so he got really scared or nervous about what to say. And at some point, it's like you're not able to really learn, because when your mind gets into that state where you're really just concerned and you're not thinking properly, and it's just hard to respond well. So, if someone drops below a certain level of functionality, like, you're level 3 or 4 or even 2 or whatever, it's like, it's important to say that. So I think at some point when I met with Abdul by myself, it was, that's the point where he told me and made it really clear that he didn't feel comfortable and that he was really nervous. And when I heard that, I finally understood what was going on. And I just didn't understand that beforehand. So that's like basically the proposal, to make sure that, basically this is also to make sure that every worker understands their power to only stay in a session or continue when it is in their best interest. And no one who is higher ranking can adversely affect that. Okay.
Now that we're talking about resolving conflicts, maybe we need to do something like that with Jorge and Steve, because I feel like there's a little bit of still something there.
Well, I haven't heard anything about Jorge and Steve, but if it's about Steve, it can go in the same discussion here.
Yeah.
So Lucy, Steve, Jorge, Steve, right? Maybe we should prioritize that a little bit more if more people are concerned about it,
Mhm.
All right. So,
Jorge is a little bit still
but again, right now we're not talking about Jorge and Steve or Steve at all. We're talking about Abdul and Zilu. So let's respect their time and space.
Yes.
So
of course.
Zilu, how do you feel? And how do you feel about things and where we stand and everything?
Yes, that is okay. But whenever you are doing from 3 months or 2 months before you started from the specific one to focus on everyone for that, but no one was doing this properly. and actually we are in level 4 and it goes to us naturally, and it's actually normal to you that you did and you are getting fired from that. It's really neat because we are not actually focusing on those. We just focusing on work or task, but not the responsibility really. It actually goes to us really.
Yeah. So basically what Zilu is saying is that he understands where I was coming from, that this particular task, specifically we're going to talk about next, is responsibility organizing, was originally tasked in June/July, and now it's October and it's still not getting done properly. So it's been like 2-3 months, and it's just like I just exploded. I was just like, why is this not getting done after 2 to 3 months? This is insane. But anyways, there's still a limit to getting upset, and a limit to the point where if somebody is literally so nervous and scared that they're not able to function, then it's not helpful for me to go beyond that. It doesn't make sense, you know. So there needs to be a way to check me, and that's where the idea of the proposal comes in, where anybody and also there was problems with language and problems with culture and all that. I mean, there was so many of these layers of issues that come up that we could address in more detail. But as far as like, this is the only proposal I could think of that could help in that particular moment, because that's really what clicked for me. But do you think this sounds good? Like, do you guys like the proposal?
Yes, I think that's going to help a lot with everyone. I mean, we need that.
Yeah, that's a good proposal, Jay.
Okay, so are there any objections to the proposal?
For me, I don't have any objection, but
Lucy, Joyce, Zilu?
For me.
No.
Zilu, you know what? No objection?
No objection, yeah.
Lucy?
No objection.
Lucy? No objection? Okay. All right, so
yeah.
So we have agreement on that proposal. So Thomas, you can let him know that we approved that proposal.
I think also if we can bring Abdul for a set, at least he can also speak with us together when we are with you guys here.
Sure. I mean, I've talked to Abdul multiple times, and I'm sure I will talk to him more.
Will he feel okay when he talk in front of us also? That maybe he will also knows that
okay, well, Thomas,
everything is going on.
Thomas, let them know that we approved that proposal, and that if Abdul wants to come talk to me and Zilu, that we are here with our group that he can come over. Okay.
okay.
Cool. All right, and then really quickly, maybe we could, if we want to spend a couple minutes on Steve / Lucy / Jorge / Steve. Like, do you guys want to spend a few minutes? Like, this would be the time to talk about it.
Okay.
Like now that we're done with Abdul, Jay, and Zilu, now we can talk about Steve and Lucy and Steve and
Lucy
Jorge.
first, yes.
So do you want to talk really quickly about this? Because this would be the time to do it before we go on to responsibility organizing.
Yeah, what I usually request, if you can just have a talk to Steve, he need to understand when he speak to someone. He need to understand also we are a human being. You don't want the way he's treating some other people. Not only me, that some other members also maybe they don't feel well just because they fear it. They are letting him know. It is really an issue. Most of the time, is Steve doing things like he's just the only person, especially even when you have a body team. Like now, Steve cannot give you a chance even to contribute. He will speak until the end of the session. When you try to interrupt him, it is a problem. You disrespect him. He's talking a lot. Like last time, he go ahead and wrote on my work report. I'm doing this and this. I just keep quiet. I did not say anything. And I even sent you the message about him. He's still repeating the same thing. Again, on during Patamun session, he got me. I was on introducing desired outcome. Instead of him even to come and say, okay, Lucy, I have a proposal. Can you guys stop us? I need to go. He just says, wait, stop. You guys stop. Like shouting. He really shout. Like I get confused. Why really he shouted that instead? And again, he accused me waking him up. He's just like he need to know that we all human beings. Each and person has a weakness in life. He cannot just come and speak to us like that.
Yeah, well, I agree. So what do you think is the best thing to do to help people talk more calmly and be more engaged in the process?
The first thing, you are the one to, maybe if you can speak to him, maybe will he listen to you to do that instead of us. He cannot even listen to us.
Well, I mean, I think that, I mean, I'll try to talk to him, like, but I think it needs to be more than just me. Like, I would recommend Lucy, Jay, and Steve to check in with him, and me to check in with them, and then also to bring it up at a main weekly session. I think could be a good place to bring it up as well. And just go from there, because I agree that if it's an issue, that it should be addressed. And just to remind us all that we're all here to learn. Like, sometimes Steve gets the idea that maybe he already knows a lot more than people, but which is true in some regards, but there's things that we need to learn, especially on how to collaborate globally and within our intercultural relationships. It's very difficult. Yeah. So, but I think really it boils down to Steve being able. Steve can talk over people and sort of hear what he wants to hear. Like for example, at the beginning of this session, when we were breaking up into the groups, I specifically said, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I specifically said, see if you can, lead the second group, and then Steve heard that he was going to lead the group because that's what we talked about before. But anyways, either way, it's all good. Nelly, what's up, Nelly? Your turn.
Yeah, well, what the problem that happened with Jorge, that Steve yelled at him. We Latins are very respectful, usually, like all the time. Even after Steve yelling at him, Jorge was very respectful and just told him, I will not continue with the same attitude you have, right? And after that, Jorge has been a little bit he doesn't want to deal with Steve. I noticed that. And he doesn't feel like comfortable working with him because he's afraid it might cause a conflict. So what he wants to do right now is just like avoid him and avoid the conflict. But I think we have to solve that because, for example, when working in the Andromeda, times when we create body teams, he just tell us that he's doing individual work. And then, so I tell him, okay, work with Lilia because we need to work on taxes. We need that for the client. We need that as community. So as the network we are. So he's only the only thing he tell to us is like, no, I'm working individually. You guys don't know about U.S. taxes, and he doesn't even know that because Lilia lived like a long time in the U.S. So maybe she knows something about taxes, and if we don't know, we can learn. But he's not willing to show us how things work, and we are always training someone new or telling someone, guiding someone to do how the things are done, so everyone can do everything. So, and he's not willing to train us, for example, in taxes, knowing that it's something that we need a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't know how to do U.S. taxes, we just need to learn.
Thomas?
Yeah, I've gone to their hangout and their thing because Abdul is taking the record, doing the video record. You're not able to come to the main hangout, but you can link them to us so that we can talk on those issues.
Oh, that we would all link together?
Yeah.
Okay. We do they want to do that now or in like a little bit?
Yeah, now.
Okay. All right. Let's link together for now. Let's see here. I'm gonna go to the. They're in the old secondary hangout, right?
Yeah.
So as I was saying, I know we need to do individual work. That's very important, but we also need to do body teams. That's how we learn from the other. Oh, you know how to do this. I know how to do this. Let's learn together. Let's work together and learn to do other things, right?
Yeah. So let's just I think we should wrap up here because I mean we could go on and on and on and on and on, right?
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
But I think what I would say as one component of this, especially in relationship to some of the things we talked about, is we have rules and policies, right? We have clear rules and policies that Steve does not follow, and the simple bottom line is that Steve is not the type of person who likes rules and policies. You know, he'll work around them and he'll work with them, but he's not like someone has to remind him that you're not following the policy, right? Otherwise, he just won't know that and won't pay attention. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because you're technically speaking, the policy for an individual session is that buddy team sessions always supersede individual sessions.
Yes.
You can be working on individual work during a buddy team session, but that's not an individual session, right? So anyways, over time, we'll address this and we'll talk to Steve more and more and more and figure it out. Maybe we'll talk to him right now. So let's connect the other group in and see what happens, okay?
Okay.
1 segundo here. All right, maybe I can just log right in. Hello.
Hello, Jay. So the problem that we're working on now, and we'll let you get with the way you're doing, is we were discussing going over all the decisions since the last Mars. How we discovered that when we go to the global decision stack, that's supposed to be for Andromeda and the global team, most of the decisions weren't there. Where they were, and don't ask me why, was on the Pacific decision stack, had all the seasonal teams and all the new moon decisions, but they weren't. So we just kind of combined those two together. And that's what we're working on at the moment. And we're going through, seeing if anybody had any problem going, ratifying all the decisions since the last Venus.
Right.
We have this. Go ahead. You have something to say. I see it in your mouth. I see it. You have something to say, so say it.
Okay, so first of all, the responsibility you're talking about is, listing and evaluating, the list of decisions, for the Venus executive team, right?
Right.
Review, right? So it's a review. This happens throughout the entire time. This is an actual responsibility that needs to be assigned. It happens continually to be able to keep it updated. And this also relates to what we call Plasmo. So I'm glad you guys are starting the process, but it's impossible to finish it all right now during the session.
No, we already know that. We just combined those two docs so that we have everything in one place that we know of right now.
Yeah.
And then just to start. We had no intention to finish it.
You want to focus on legal decisions. So this would include budgetary decisions, policy decisions, and hiring, et cetera, like, legal decisions.
Right. Yeah. Yes, we know we buzzed over a lot of stuff that was like budgets from 3 months ago. We didn't take any time on. We buzzed right through all that. You getting to level 4 from level 3, we had to send it on that. Only kidding. We went through some of that stuff. We just like, yeah, okay, we're not even. This is what it is. We just keep going. Well, we're looking for the legal stuff, right?
Are you listing all of these on your notes for the Venus session?
No, what we said we're going to do is, now let me finish. Of course, there are so many decisions. What we said we're going to do, we're going to go through them, and if there is no dissension on anyone that there's any type of dissent, if anybody wants to change the vote or vote against it, we will list those. If there's no dissent in them, then we're just going to put that for all legal decisions. There was no dissent. Because there's too many of them to write down every single decision.
Yeah. So the process is that you list all of the decisions, and then what happens is that anyone who has a concern on the decision, then you can prioritize it for review. Does that make sense? So anything that there's no concern on.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah. That's exactly what we're doing. We're reading through the list. And going through each one of them one by one. And if anybody has a concern on any of the ones that are legal, we talked about the ones about hiring and firing. We talked about the ones, we had some discussion on the ones concerning the conflict resolution. If they couldn't be resolved, all 3 could be removed. We've discussed that one, and everybody understands that it's not a simple process. It would have to go before the full team and blah blah blah. We talked about how the HR person can give somebody the night off or tell them, until the next main session, we're going to have to discuss this, but nobody can get fired without a full team review, blah, blah, blah. We're doing it the right way, Jay. I know what I got to do. My problem is just having to repeat myself 100 times to get people to understand, but that's the language barrier, and we're dealing with it.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's a learning experience. So just remember that everybody's here to learn, and that we're all equals in this space. So
Right. And I can always send you private Skypes.
Well, they're only so private when they show up on my screen that blasts out.
I and I knew it was going to, actually. I knew it was going to. And I figured some people might have actually said, here we go.
Okay,
again.
Anyways, let's get focused. So what we're doing is we just went over the conflict evolution process. We did that. Yeah, we also discussed some about wanting to talk with you about some of our policies and the independent sessions, and communicating, and all that kind of good jazzy jazz, and even trainings too. So we're going to talk with you in the future on that. Also, we were just about to go into responsibility organizing.
We actually touched on it because somebody asked a question while we were discussing the level 4 policies. So Bill asked the question because he didn't understand. He thought that the 2 combined. So we actually touched on it, and we went through exactly what the responsibility organizing is, how it's not to put, we went through exactly what it is and what it is, with examples and explanations. So we've actually covered that already. Okay. I'm interested in what or who is complaining about my individual work, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, it's specifically related to, obviously, everything that happened at the quarter moon session, which we've talked about multiple times. So that's pretty much going to be clearly understood. The other one is that within the Americas session, you like to work individually even when buddy teams are going on, and so that came up as a question, and you know, in terms of our policies of creating buddy teams.
The question on that is, if I'm working on taxes and there's nothing they can help me with, why should I take them from doing something else with the rest of the buddy team? Nobody else can do what I was doing today with me except you. So why would I have Lilia come with me and sit there and do nothing? I said, let her work with you guys and learn something she can do, rather than sit there and go through the line by line taxes with me.
Yeah, well,
I basically only do individual when it's taxes, and nobody else can help me with it except you.
Yeah, well,
when you're there, I don't do it individual.
The two things is one, that should be approved. So as long as everyone's in agreement with it, it's fine. Two is that, I mean, at some point we do want to train people, right? And then three is that the third one is simply that the policy would be that if you have two people on the hangout, you guys can be working on separate things. So Lilia could be working on one thing and you could be working on taxes, right? And that would still be a buddy team, but you guys would be working on seperate things, which is the goal of buddy teams. That's the most efficient buddy team. Or the buddy teams would just a double team can approve someone going off and working as an individual session if that's in the best interest. For example, right now we could approve to put if there's something more important than the Venus session, which is like really rare, right? What's more important than the Venus session, right? But you could set aside a group. If we had taxes due tomorrow, then maybe, right? So then we would set a group aside who would work on that while other people are doing the Venus session, right? So you could technically say we need to do an individual session or a buddy team session or a double team session during the Venus session because it's that important to get the work done. And that would need to be a group decision. So anyways, that's the policies. I think overall we're good. The only other thing we could do is we could skip responsibility organizing and go to tactical ops management if we want to do that as a group. Otherwise, I think we can just split back up. We'll be good.
We can run through tactical ops management real quick. Why don't we?
Okay.
Of course, if I'm going to take on, and the other person we talked about is going to take on part of it, then maybe we should all be talking at the same time.
Okay, and then the next one we have is 3 to 4 month goals.
That I think has to be a group thing also.
Well, I mean,
my goals and your goals. You know what the goals are better than I do, Jay. We didn't discuss that enough earlier.
Well, no, but it's a brainstorm. It's a brainstorm, so everybody gets to contribute, and that's a good thing to do into 2 separate groups. Okay.
Okay. What are your extra 1 month goals or 1 week goals? I know they are for us, you and me personally. I don't know what they are for the rest of the team. That was on your list of topics.
Yeah. If we get a chance to go through that, there's just like a lot of really important things that all need to happen this week, and it's kind of a lot. So.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of them, and we're working on some of them, you and I, and I don't know.
Well, there's the House tomorrow morning, and then there's a legal meeting
in the afternoon. Right. Well, you're going to dial me in on that tomorrow morning.
On Thursday, there's the board meeting on Thursday. What the executive meetings are the super board meetings on Wednesday. Yeah, so there's at least 4 or 5 different things that are all happening back to back to back with exit.
Okay. Just remember, if I don't talk to you again, because I'm starting to fade. It's 3:15 in the morning here, and I've been up since 9. I'm going to, go through these last couple of things. I don't know if I'm going to make it until 4 or even much past 3:30. Listen, you're 3 hours ahead of me.
Okay, so do we want to do tactical ops management as a group or not?
Just remember that I will be up and waiting for you to either call me or whatever if you want me at the house meeting, if you want to dial me into the house meeting tomorrow. I'll either be home or in the car, but my phone will be on with Skype or whatever else. Or I can go online, I can get to Hangouts and get to anything on my phone if I'm not home. So just remember, if you want me there.
Okay, but Steve, we're in a group of 10 people. That is not relevant to the group discussion.
Okay.
So if we can get focused on the group discussion, that would be better.
All right.
So, let's. Do we want to talk about tactical ops management real quick?
Yes, let's talk about it really quick.
All right.
So I'm going to pick this one up. I have volunteered to Jay earlier that I am going to go back to the last 4, 5, 6 global moon sessions and such, to see who has volunteered to take on what responsibilities and who has volunteered to help them with those responsibilities. I'm going to compile a list, and then I'm going to actively start asking these people exactly where they are on doing these responsibilities. It is no longer going to be okay to say, I'm going to do it. I mean, yes, they have to be prioritized, but if you have a priority responsibility that you said you're going to take on, then I am going to, get on you, and I'm going to, continuously ask you, where are you on this? Who are you doing it with? Who is doing it with you? If you're not doing it, who do you plan? Have you asked other people to take it on? It is no longer just going to be okay to say, I'm going to do it. And Jay's going to do that to me, and I'm going to do that to Jay. And I expect anybody else who sees me not doing mine to ask me. But I am going to compile a list within the next 7 days. And I am going to, start questioning everybody who has taken on responsibilities as the organizer, where they are in organizing that responsibility. And as we discussed earlier, that doesn't mean where you are doing it, where are you on getting people to help you do it, or to do it, or to do specific parts of it. Remember, nobody is expecting you to do a responsibility all by yourself, or expecting you to, if people said they're going to help you with it, to at least say, well, who's doing this part, who's doing that part, and ask them, where are they on it, where, do you need help with it, are you having a problem with it? To oversee, to be the overseer of that responsibility. And I'm going to hold you to what you offered to do. Okay? That's what I am. I don't know where Jay is.
Okay, so I'll go over a couple things here. So basically what Steve wants to do is he wants to help out with what's called the technical ops, co-coordinator. This is a coordinator position. Co-coordinator, and he's going to focus on the responsibilities and go through, make sure everyone is covering the responsibilities. There also is another, the other co-coordinator is, and this would be Steve. The other co-coordinator is Lucy. Lucy is focusing on the positions to make sure everyone who's taking on a position that it's followed up with the position, and that they understand whether it's a manager position or co-coordinator position. And Steve's going to focus on the responsibilities. Does that make sense in terms of like the breakup between the positions and the responsibilities?
Yeah, that works for me, sure.
Yeah, so the primary responsibility that you're taking on, Steve, is the idea of responsibilities verification spreadsheets, right? So what we want to know is who's responsible for what, and to verify whether or not the work has got done, or to what level the work has got done. So everybody is responsible to update their responsibility on the verification spreadsheet and to say how much has gotten done. For example, 30%, 50%, et cetera. Maybe it's 0%. But the point is
right. And was up until now, Jay has gone through the list and said, well, I think this much has gotten done, this much. But it's not Jay's responsibility to know where every responsibility is at. He cannot oversee every responsibility. There's too many. There's hundreds. Jay can't oversee everyone. I can't oversee everyone. But if we have 24 people and each one has 3, 4, 5 responsibilities, then it becomes manageable for all of us to oversee the responsibilities. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
You all talk about wanting to move up from level 3 to level 4, level 4 to level 5. And the way to do that is to learn responsibilities and help and know how to do the responsibilities. So if everybody has 5, that's why you have to have 5 responsibilities to be at level 4.
Yeah. So and there'll be two categories of verification percentages, right? So one is percentage of work that has gotten done, right? And the other one that we want to add, so this needs to be added, would be the percentage responsibility organizing processing
Right, exactly.
that has gotten done. So you don't need to know how to do the work. You can start the responsibility organizing process and actually move forward with that, even though none of the work has gotten done. So that it can be fully organized without work getting done, or it could be that if the work got done, but it's not organized as far as a responsibility. So it can actually be 100% that the work got done, but 0% that it's organized. And it could go the other way around, that it's 100% organized, 0% done, or anywhere in between. Does that make sense?
And here's the thing, sometimes there's work that's all done, but nobody knows it's all done because it's not organized. Because
Exactly.
maybe one person did one part of it, one person did the other part of it, somebody in the third group did the third part of it. It's all done, but since nobody knows that everybody's done their part, nobody knows it's done. And meanwhile, Jay's still worried about it. I'm still scratching my head, you know. So that's why we need somebody to organize each responsibility. So that's what I'm going to make sure it gets done. And you know how much is getting done and how it's been organized.
Questions.
What?
Are there any questions from anybody?
I'm sorry.
Anyone have a question or a concern, anything? So again, let's say you took on a responsibility and you don't know how to do the responsibility. What do you do?
To go responsibility organizing.
Yeah. Yes, responsibility organizing. And then you can still talk to Steve, update the responsibility verification spreadsheet, say whether or not the responsibility has gotten organized, say whether or not it has gotten done at all. And it's okay to report that nothing, zilcho has gotten done, because you're responsible for reporting that. And then we know, because if we don't know that something's gotten done, that's almost worse than knowing nothing. It's worse to not know anything than to know that nothing got done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We rather know and have it logged in the system that nothing got done on the responsibility than to have just no information at all. So when Steve asks you, what have you gotten done? And you're like, well, nothing got done. It's like, we want to hear that. You know, we don't want to hear, oh, I don't know, I have no idea what that would be a bad answer. It's like, okay, nothing. You assume nothing got done unless you can verify something's done.
Right, and if you've taken on part of the responsibility to do an actual job in the responsibility and you don't know how to do it, please do not be afraid to ask your acquaintance, somebody else in your group, in your acquaintance, in the Sonic or in the Global, or come to, you know, or send me a Skype. You know, try not to bother Jay with it. If I can't figure it out, then I'll bother Jay with it. You know, but I mean, you know, just if you said you're going to do something and you're stuck, don't just, you know, say, okay, well, I'm not going to do it. Let somebody know that you're having a problem. Trust me. I told Jay today that I don't know how to do something that I should honestly, very honestly know how to do it in my sleep, and I don't know how to do it. I didn't say, oh, I'm not going to tell Jay. He's going to, you know, he's going to think I'm stupid if I look, and, you know, there's some that some of you guys here will understand, especially Abdul. I can't do steps 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5 on the taxes. I can't do, but I can do 6, 7, and 8. I need you guys to do 1 through 5. Well, now Jay's going to show it to me because I told Jay, well, I'll have one of you show it to me because I was, you know, able to say, I don't know. I've never had to do it because you do it. Once you do it, I can go back and look at it and work with it and do everything else, but I don't know how to do it myself. It's not part of my responsibility. My responsibility is to do the taxes. Now, do I want to know how to do it? Of course. Will I make it my business to learn it? Of course. But it wasn't necessary for me to do it to get the job done. So if you don't know how to do something and you feel that it's something you need to know how to do to get, or you said you're going to get done, just ask. Somebody will know how to do it. If nobody else can do it, if we've never done it before, we can figure it out. Trust me, me and Jay have started from scratch and figured out plenty of stuff before. We can figure it out. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's the biggest one. You know, and I said to them today, they yelled at me, kind of yelled at me. I said it's a stupid question. There is no such thing as a stupid question. What's stupid is assuming that everybody knows the answer. Whatever the question is, please ask it. A lot easier to fix something before you do it wrong than it is after you do it wrong.
Cool. So yeah, that's great. Like, really quickly, 2 other very simple questions that you can ask via email, Skype, or just whenever you can, or prioritize. If you don't know anything about the responsibility, one question you would ask is, who else knows about this responsibility? Maybe I'm the only other person that knows about the responsibility, and you want to know that, right? Or you want to know, okay,
Right.
other people know about it besides Jay. So that would be a very important question to ask to start organizing the responsibility. Another good question to ask is, just because you are taking responsibility for something doesn't mean you have to do all the work, right? Steve says this best, right? You are taking responsibility for making sure the work gets done. That doesn't mean that you can't assign somebody or work with multiple people who are also helping with that responsibility. So you can ask other people how much work has gotten done. And maybe I'm the person that's doing the work, but I'm doing 100, 200 responsibilities simultaneously. I don't have time to update the responsibility verification sheet for each one. So if you ask me how much has gotten done on that particular responsibility, that might be very helpful for you to know if you're responsible for a particular responsibility. Does that make sense?
Of course, I mean, think about it, guys. I'm the communications co-coordinator. Communications has something like 300 tasks, 3,000 tasks. There is no way in God's given earth I can do it all in 6 months by myself. But it's my responsibility when something has to get done to make sure that it gets done. That's all we're asking. If you take on the responsibility, make it your business to see that it gets done by getting the people who can do it to help you do it. To do it. Yeah. Find, a lot of people signed up. If you look at a lot of the responsibilities, on the sheets, it'll have it'll say Steve, and then it'll say James and say Asif, right? So Steve is the one who stepped up and said, I'm going to take it, and James and Asif said, we're going to help. So it's my job as taking the responsibility to say to James and Asif, okay, what do you want to do in this? And then it's my job to say, what have you gotten done? What you said you're going to do. And that's what the job entails.
Cool.
You don't have to do it, just see what everybody else is doing.
I think we're ready to move on. Does anyone want to take on?
I think so.
Does anyone want to take on these tasks? So we want to add this task, the responsibility for all workers doc, and this task is basically just adding a new column into the responsibility verification spreadsheets for responsibility organizing processing. Does anyone want to take on these tasks?
Yes, I can help with that.
Which one do you want to do, Nelly?
We have as a goal for this week to work on document organizing, but I guess it's similar, so we can work on that.
Okay, but I mean, I just need someone to take on this and make sure it gets done. So, Nelly, you want to help do one of these? Which one do you want to do? This one? Or all of them? You want to do all of them, or what? Does anyone want to work with Nelly? Who can help Nelly? Somebody.
I can help Nelly. I can help
Nelly. Okay, Asif and Nelly are gonna double check on make sure all this stuff gets done. Okay. All right. Great. All right, let's go on to executive systems and executive roles real quick. Okay. And then we're gonna do our month, and I think we can get through this in 5 minutes. At the next Venus session, we'll get deeper into it. Okay. So. We already went through the role of executives, which is oversight. Executives do oversight, which is what we're basically doing today. And they oversee managers, they oversee co-coordinators, and they make sure people are accountable. To the work. And then, of course, they also make legal decisions, executive legal decisions. executive legal decisions, and also many times they make what we call spur of
the moment.
Emergency/urgent decisions. So also executives appoint managers and co-coordinators. So if we had time, we would review. This is actually part of the plasma review that we were talking about above here, which we would actually also review the appointment of all manager positions and co-coordinator positions. Okay. And so and then the only other thing to note here is that the board appoints the executives. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
And so the board meeting is going to be the Earth session, which comes up in January, I don't know, like 3rd or whatever. Okay, so what are the executive roles? The executive roles are the communications coordinators, the documentations coordinators, the actions coordinators. Those are the 3 primary, what we call branches of the network. Who's doing notes right now?
How Mina should be doing notes. Did we lose her?
Well, no, whoever's doing notes. Joyce. Yeah, Joyce, you're doing a great job with the notes. It's excellent. All right. So these are the executive roles. And these are the primary, what we call primary network branches, right? So the executives oversee the primary network branches. From here, there's also the senior managers of each quintet, and we might be going to the sextant, quintet/sextant, and then from there, whoops. There's also a couple other positions, like we have FORMAP and I don't remember what it's called, but the point is that this is the division of 2, and then the division of 1. The 1 division is called interactions. So if we just broke down the entire network into 1 category, it would be the interactions directors or interactions co-coordinators. And then FORMAP stands for fundraising, outreach, recruitment, and advertising, promotions. It's marketing. It's all the external stuff, right? So this is external, whereas this is like board development, executive, all that stuff, and this is internal. Okay. So this is basically the other position that is good to note would be a single branch is the centaur, right? The centaur, and this would be my role, and I'll give it a little thing like that. But we have executive positions like you have CEO, president. We can also do other vice presidents, president. Executive director, et cetera. Okay. So those are the executive roles. This is vacant. No, this one has Steve. This one is vacant. We need someone to step up and become a documentations coordinator. This is vacant. These senior manager positions, we do elections, and we have potential people, so that's good. FORMAP, this is vacant.
Well, FORMAP is mostly communications anyway.
But it's a little bit more than communications if you think about it.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, if nobody else does it, I can squeeze it into the other communication stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
So
it.
we could
I
create
don't want to, but I can.
we could create other vice presidential positions, but again, there's only basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7 or 8 positions that are executive roles in the network, and then there are about there's like 6 or 12 of the senior managers for each of the quintients and sextants. But that's it.
Can you please repeat what is format?
Fundraising, outreach, recruitment, marketing, advertising, and promotions.
Oh, I would like I would love to work on that one.
Nelly likes that. Cool.
Yes, I like it very much.
And then the other one, I can't remember it, but it's like board, executive, administrative, oversight, blah blah blah. It's like the internal stuff, right? Administrative, right? Cool. So Nelly is excited about format. That's cool.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and think about it. If our communications coordinator oversees all internal communication systems, which is really in some ways internal, not external. So format is really just external relationships and business development and other aspects of investor relations, things like that.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And whereas communications coordinator oversees.
I am sitting here falling asleep.
Oh, you gotta get going?
I don't think there's that much left, and I have to be up early.
So Asif is gonna take over the other group.
Okay? Yes, Asif is gonna take over the other group. If there's any voting to be done, it's gonna get sent out in an email when I do it there. I don't think James is here, but I will speak with James tomorrow, and we will make sure that the Mars elections get taken care of.
Yeah.
Like we did for the last set. He'll get the doc form ready, and I'll get him emailed out. Okay.
Cool.
Asif, please, an email that works. Send it to me on Skype when you have a chance later or tomorrow. Okay. Because the last 2 times I emailed you. Last 2 times I sent you forms, they bounced back, so I need an email for you that works. All right, thank you. Everybody, it was a lovely session. This is my checkout. I have to call Las Vegas now before I go to bed to speak to my friends there and send my condolences a little more detailed than I did. No, I don't know if you are, Nelly, but I lost a friend and I have 2 more injured that were there. So I have to handle that.
We wish the best for all of that, for sure. It's very difficult.
I wish the best for all 512 that were injured and for the families of the other 57 or 58 that died, besides my friend. Everybody should just, this is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. All right. And I will speak to you, Jay, if you need me in the morning. You know how to get in touch with me for that meeting. Goodbye.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
Good night. Good night.
Okay, are there any last questions about the executive roles, what they are, if anyone wants to fill any of these other vacancies?
I do have the doubt of the meaning of format is fundraising.
Here, I'll write it down for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Outreach,
I'm going to create a document for that as a responsibility, so everyone can have access to that and see what it's about. Start working on that.
Great, excellent.
And Jay, can you tell me a little bit about this actions coordinator?
Yes, I would love to tell you a little more about that. Let me just really quickly check to see if there's anything linked here for format, just to know. I know I have a format documentation somewhere, but I don't think there's a doc. So I think you're right, Nelly, that we do need to create a doc. But this isn't working. I don't know what's going on here. Let me try one more time. No, it's not working. Okay. So yeah, whatever. Well, maybe later. Okay, so let's go into what you were talking about, the actions. Okay, so actions is very important. Actions are proposals, decision making, planning, implementation, in many ways, coordination and work, right? Work and coordination, right? So communications is like, the foundation. Everything's based on communications, right? Without communications, nothing else can happen, right? And that's how we communicate. Documentations is recording everything. If you communicate and it's not recorded, and there's nothing documented, then nothing happened. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, so documentations is extremely important because without documentations, nothing actually exists past just what you said. That's why we record everything. We're publicly accountable, and it's all documented over and over and over again, triple and quadruple checked, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Actions is where we turn the communications and the documentations into actual implementation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actions is like, it relates to the proposals, the decision making. This is all about empowerment. One of the interesting things about our actions protocols and our actions systems is that it really is all about buddy teams. Actions take place in small groups of usually 3 to 5 people, like buddy teams and double teams, and basically the bottom line is that we make decisions that create plans and create an understanding. We call them planning decisions, but somebody needs to take action on those decisions or they're meaningless, right? So we can say all day long that we just approved a new policy, but if no one actually takes actions on that policy, then nothing has happened and no decision was actually made. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So for example, a proposal might be, okay, we approved the proposal for the budget, but the action is actually spending the money based on the budget proposal that was approved. That's the action.
That was quite good.
All right, so let me write that down as example. So you approve the budget proposal, but the action is actually spending the money as the budget was approved. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes. So Jay, is it possible to work on this? I asked it.
Of course, yeah. If you want to take on the actions coordinator role, this is an executive level role. There's actually one other one that I forgot to mention is that there's the co-chairs. The co-chairs of the management steering team, or the steering team. I don't think it's a management team. I think it's the steering team. There are co-chairs. So there are 3 co-chairs, 2 to 3 co-chairs that are positions that are really important to fill as well. So yeah, those are the other ones that I forgot. But yeah, we can note Asif here. Any other questions on any other positions?
My question is if we can do more than one. I mean, I know it's going to be a lot of work, but yeah.
I mean, you can take on 2 and then see which one you like better because they're co-coordinator positions. None of these are a single person. They're all more work than a single person could ever do. So in that context, it's like if you took on more than one, it would be the idea where I'm not really sure I like both of these and I'll try them both out for a little bit, but eventually all of these are more work than any single person could do, which is why they're all co-coordinator positions.
Yeah, and also because I'm already coordinator for our clients' accounting and finances.
That would be a management position as opposed to an executive position.
Yes. Oh, I see. Yeah.
These are the executive positions. Executive positions do not like they do oversight, right? They do oversight and they hold the managers accountable, but they don't actually manage the responsibilities, right? Executive roles don't oversee responsibilities. They oversee positions and relationships, and they oversee the legal decision-making to support those decisions and relationships. Does that make sense? Those positions and relationships, yeah. I'll try to write that down again because that definitely was a pretty nice statement. So executives oversee relationships of the positions and the decisions being made. They do not focus on responsibility. Okay.
Yeah, more clear.
Yeah, and you can think about it like right now there are we're counting like around 10 to 20 executive roles. Okay, there's about 10 to 20 executive roles in the global network, right? So there's these three. There's 3 here. There's 6 here. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So there's like 16, about 15 to 20 roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the actual number of roles for the management and co-coordinator positions, there's over 40 projects. All of those are a co-coordinator position. Plus, we have all the client managers and all the other managers of the projects.
I will love
there's like almost
to
100. There's like at least 50 to 100 manager and co-coordinator positions.
I mean, for example, I will. Oh, but Asif is already working on that. Okay, now.
Well, you can have more than one person on all of these.
The actions coordinators. That sounds really fun.
All right, so anyone else left that we have documentations, co-chairs, format, the Vino, whatever that is, for the internal coordination interactions. Say what? Format. You're interested in format? Okay, so that would be so Nelly and Joyce. Cool. Anyone else before we go on? Cool. All right.
Does they require any level?
No, you just have to be level 3 to take on executive roles. You do not have to be level 4. The only role this is the only one you have to be level 4 is the senior managers of the quintets and the sextants. Okay.
Okay, I'll take the documentation.
All right. Thank you, Thomas. Okay. All right. So, Lucy, are you still here?
Yes.
So the tactical ops for the positions, right? These are all still positions, even though they happen to be executive positions. The tactical ops manager is still going to track all of these positions and make sure that they are, they're executive positions, but they're still positions. So they still need to be added to the spreadsheet, okay?
Okay. I would love to help with my quintet because, I mean, we are not too many on Andromedas, so yeah.
Yeah, we need to do recruitment. We need to do recruitment in the agenda under.
But also, to be senior manager of each quintet, you need to be level 4, and I think only Steve and I are level 4.
We made Jorge level 4 too, so it's you, Steve, and Jorge, and myself, all for the Americas.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So if we come up here to the topics, this is the right here, the sextant schedule organizing. So basically, we're proposing to take the quintets, move them to a sextant schedule, and this is where we would talk about implementing this. I'm actually really excited about that. I'm praying that we'll get to that by the end of the week. We have today, we have the full moon session on Thursday, and we have the Mars session on Sunday. So hopefully we'll get through all of this by the end of the week. You know how that goes.
Pretty fun, yes.
Yeah. So anyways, this is one of those rare weeks where we have 3 global sessions in 1 week. It doesn't happen very often. All right, so let's go back to where we are now. And I'm gonna remind you guys, because you guys are not doing very good at this, at the top of all of our session notes, we have the contents of the notes, and you click on it and you refresh it, and then it adds in all of the topics, okay? And then you can just jump straight back to the executive systems. Okay, so I think we're done with the executive systems and roles. So let's go on to the next topic, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, and thank you, Lucy, for helping make sure all the positions get put into the spreadsheet. Oh, and I just want to remind you guys that all of the executive positions are appointed by the board, right? So everybody is interim, and temporary, and then you get appointed by the board is where the actual official appointments happen. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and that happens twice a year.
So
Except
we will
some
be
of these-
acting, as of now, we will be acting
Yeah, like
executives,
acting.
right?
Exactly, acting executives. Yeah. So the senior manager positions, these are co-chairs. Right? I mean, these are elections. So these ones happen through the elections and not by the board. And then the co-chairs are appointed by the steering team, and also can be elected if we did an election. But yeah, all the other ones are by the board. Okay. All right, so let's go on to our goals. So we're going to split up into the 2 groups, and we're going to do a brainstorm of our 3 to 4 month goals. And our 3 to 4 month goals are exciting because this is, I mean, we're talking right now it is October. So October, November, December, January. So by the end of January, when we do the next Venus session, where do we want to be? So it's a pretty broad discussion. A lot can happen in 3 to 4 months. All right, so we're gonna
working very hard in client relations.
Okay, but we're gonna break up. Wait, there's only 3 of you guys here. 1, 2, 3. How many do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we can all just join back up as one group. Let's just stay as one group, okay? Does anyone object to us staying as one group?
No.
No objection from us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 people. So I think it's fine to stay as one group, but we could send somebody over there, and you guys could have 4 people, and we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people.
I think that we should move to main one.
Okay, let's just all meet up at the main, okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, Nelly, your turn.
Yeah, I think something that I would like to see for goals is like working harder into investor relations. I think we are growing, we are having more clients, but I think still we need to work more in that. So I would like to create like a detailed I don't know, plan or schedule in order to increase our investor relations.
So increase investor relations. Is there any other specific goals you'd want to have? Like maybe have a investor?
Yeah, I would like to create like a calendar specifically on that. I mean, I still don't know exactly how to do it, but I would like to have like goals per week in order to work on that, like a calendar for that specifically. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And investor relations is obviously a project, but I'm not sure exactly what the specific responsibility would be, but we'll figure it out. Okay.
Okay.
And we do have a huge list of all the investor possibilities. So anything else, Nelly, you want to add? Any other goals?
I think that's very important for me. And of course, client management to keep the clients that we already have. I mean, keep doing a good job, have improving as possible.
Do you want to work on client management?
Sure. I think our processes are good right now, but as we have seen before, we made some changes in order to improve on our processes to make them better. Yes.
Cool. Thank you, Nelly. Anything else? You're good?
No, I think that's
right.
the most important for me. Yes.
Who wants to go next?
Just want to make an announcement that Elaine is trying to reconnect because her connection is slow. She texts me right now.
Okay, well, if she wants to get on to the secondary one too, that works. But we will just, you know, she can get in as soon as she can. No problem. Thanks for letting us know. All right, who wants to go next? Asif, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll think, you know, just give me 1-2 minutes and I'll.
Who would anyone like to go next? Joyce?
Yeah, I think for the next 3 to 4 months, I want to see myself as getting more involved in the accounting and finance process, as I'm an accounting graduate. And also, I want to see that the Australia will be really organized. And what else? I think that's all for now. That's what I can think now.
Cool. I want to add one to this, which is government compliance, finances, and taxes. I just want to get everything related to government, you know, get everything related to government and legal systems in order. That would make me feel so much better.
Jay, I get really organized the Australia Quinta.
Ooh, yeah, so get Australia and other quintants / sextants really organized and active, right? We want to get them active.
Yes, yes.
So this would be, I think it's just a responsibility, right? Quintant. Who's next? Thomas, do you want to go? Abdul?
Yep.
Thomas?
For me, is responsibility and organizing.
Oh, yes. And this is a process. Responsibility, organizing. And what's the goal? Thomas, do you have a goal?
To have more responsibility and be organized on them.
Great. Very, very good. All right. Anything else, Thomas?
Also, I took some tasks and positions, so I would like to perfect on those positions that I took on.
What was the goal to something question mark for the positions that I have taken on? What was it again?
Perfect on those positions that I took on.
To perfect the positions that I've taken on. So this would be maybe a worker coordination, personnel support, right?
Yep.
Oh, something I would like to add, check in on that. I really think that if we are starting to do a lot of taxes for all the clients, I think taxes is something that is very important. So I would like to ask for training on taxes.
Okay. So Nelly, let's just add taxes as, let's just put this, let's just add another one that says taxes, okay?
Yeah.
Taxes is actually its own sub-project, so get more training on taxes, and this is Nelly. And please add your name next to these things if you're interested in them.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Any more for you, Thomas?
Also, on virtual office.
Ooh, yeah, that was good. Virtual office. And so the virtual office would be a position, right? Is that a position or a responsibility or what?
Position, yeah.
Position. So position would be the virtual office. There's actually a manager. And it's also related to the documentation's co-coordinator and the documentation's executive co-coordinator. So what's the goal for that one? To just learn your position better?
Yeah. And I know the responsibility when it comes to virtual office manager.
Okay, we need to take a break.
Oh yeah, that's great. So I think we're gonna get done in the next like 15, 20 minutes here. So let's just stand up really quickly, drink water, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. Just to finish what's on the tip of my tongue here, just as an example of a goal, what we want to do is that we want to think about it like, to get our virtual office as organized as possible, right? Does that make sense? Like that's the goal. I mean, it's great to learn your position, but what does your position actually do? It wants to organize the virtual office to be the most organized virtual office ever. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Create the most organized virtual office ever in existence. Like that's a goal. Does that make sense?
That's a big goal.
That's a big goal, right? Why not? We're here to, this is the Venus session, go big or go home.
Yes.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay.
A little break.
Guys, do we have pizza party over here or what? Like, we are having a good meeting.
Yeah, break time.
Any order for you all?
Okay, I'm back. So, Nelly, are you back yet?
Yes, I'm back.
You're doing a really good job on our timekeeping for our top of the hour and bottom of the hour. We just set the alarm for every hour and every half hour, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. And it feels so much better to do that. But I think we're on hour. Is this hour 2 or hour 3? Okay, so we're just starting hour 3. Yeah, so it's time to wrap up and basically stop. But let's just make sure everyone gets a chance to do the goals, and then we'll check out and wrap up and be done. So, and one other thing, let me make sure so I don't get upset at the end, is to make sure that we're organizing all of our tasks and responsibilities and projects at the top.
Yes, I did that.
Oh, great. Beautiful. Thank you. So we just want to make sure we're adding all our projects now, but that's great. Thank you so much, Lucy. All right, Lucy, do you want to go next? Or are we done with you, Thomas?
Yeah, I'm through with me.
Okay, Lucy, your turn.
Okay. For me, what I want to accomplish for the next 3 months, 4 months, to perfect on the position I took. On tactical coordinator, I want to know more what I should do and what I should achieve on that. And also on EXA, umbrella EXA coordinator, I want to know how can I work on that, how can I help on that, to just perfect myself so that I can know I can manage to do that work. I can manage to be a tactical coordinator. I can know my role. If, for example, given a work to do for clients, I am in the right place to work on that. I can make it perfect.
Cool. So again, I'm gonna challenge you guys into really thinking about goals, right? So it's great to say I want to do really good at what I want to do, right, in my position, but it doesn't really challenge the organization. So, for example, the tactical coordination, the tactical coordination or management, tactical management coordination is to make sure that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities and are able to follow through and report, et cetera, right? So that's the goal of the organization, is that within the next 3 to 4 months that everybody knows all of their responsibilities and roles and that they're actually reporting back and we're verifying, right? That makes sense?
Yes.
And so that's an organizational goal. It's not a personal goal. We're here to brainstorm the goals of the organization.
I still my personal goal to I want to learn more on value tracking, EXA value tracking. If I can get chance even to work with Nelly to help me work on that. Yeah. And also taxes. Although I know a little bit, I really want to learn. By the next 4 months, I will be perfect, and they can give me a job to work on that, and I can do that maybe within 2 days, and I'm done. That's what I'm really looking forward to, make sure that I understand more about finance and taxes.
Great. So, so the finances and taxes, get more training on taxes. I mean, we want to basically for me, what I want to do with taxes, I want to implement our real-time taxes plan and be like 100% on top of taxes for us and all of our clients, right? That's the goal.
Yes.
Umbrella EXA coordination, there needs to be a goal, right? So it's not just learning more about umbrella EXA coordination. That's not a goal. We want an organizational goal. It would be like, being like it could be similar to this taxes thing, right? It could be like be 100% organized and clear about everything we are doing for the client, right? I mean, that would be amazing. Yes. We're not even close to that. So client, right? Right now we're probably more like 55%. And then EXA value tracking. What's the goal? Maybe to finish the master ledger. How about that?
We have a lot of work with the master ledger, and we are not even at the halfway. I mean, we have a lot to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we need to hire more people to work on the master ledger, we just got to do it because the client wants it done, right? They're ready for the master ledger to be literally done, right? So. Yeah, and it's like halfway done is actually pretty amazing thinking about where we came from, right? Because the master ledger is huge. It's like, what is it valued at? Like,
it's just very detailed, and we have to work like it's like not that fast.
It's like $10 million of value. I mean, it's so much data, and it's so many people. There's like hundreds of people involved.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's hard.
And we should ask for more money, right? Make sure we're all getting paid more money. That
definitely,
could be
because every blog takes like perhaps I mean, not completely finished, but like 75% finished, is like I don't know, 2 days, like 3 hours. It's yeah, it's a lot of work.
Cool. I'm going to add budget, increasing our budget, recruitment, getting more people hired and involved in all quintants/sextants. That's just super duper duper important. Any more for you, Lucy?
No.
Okay, so and I want to make sure we get our project. So that's a project. The budget is a project. Recruitment is technically a responsibility. Worker recruitment. Okay, umbrella exit coordination is a position.
I think one goal, but that is very important, is I don't know if Mel is already on board with us, but I really would like someone to be local, working directly with you, Jay. I think that's really important because there are a lot of documents that need to be scanned and sent to the virtual office. So we need a local person working.
I mean, we need multiple local people.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain this.
Yes.
I've said from the first day we started that it will be literally impossible. When I say impossible, I mean literally not possible to complete the needs of the client without local support. And
I think it's very
it's
important.
October. It's been like 6 months, and still to this day we don't have it, and it's outrageous.
No.
Like I should be screaming at the top of my lungs right now. I
thought we had it with Mel, but I don't know what happened there.
Mel is she's an amazing person, but she's not particularly focused, and she's got 100 other projects that she's working on. So in many ways, she wants to help. She wants our help more than she's going to help us. But she potentially could bring in a lot of funding and help with investor relations. But she's not going to be the person who's going to deal with the main focal point of like all the office and the documentation. She already spent at least 3 hours helping organize things. But it's like we need way more than that. Like I mean, we need way more. So the main thing I want Mel to help on is maybe to recruit more people. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up because that's super duper duper important. And I'm gonna add that as like another responsibility, which is local HQ. All right, so let's go to the next person. How about Abdul or Zilu? Did we lose Zilu?
Yeah, we lost Zilu.
Abdul?
Hi there. Yeah.
Do you have a goal for the next 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, I think I can do finance categorize and taxes, and also want to do personal support for the new workers to help them to take responsibility, and also to help them to fulfill our goal. And I also help to exam reimbursement and the other exam value tracking. And also can help for the recruitments. That's it from my side.
All right, nothing else for you, Abdul? Okay.
No, I think it's okay for my side.
Okay, thank you, Abdul. Let's see. How about I go and then we'll finish off with Asif, okay? So
okay.
I am going to add a couple things. One is the UMBUS and new value tracking and new budgeting, like team budgeting systems. So to fully implement our new systems of coordinating client reporting, budgeting, billing, team budgets, like the whole thing needs to be completely redone and change it all around. It's going to be way better, but people are going to need to take responsibility and step up to get it all done. The Selene calendar, my hope is in November. To fully switch from the Gregorian calendar to the lunar solar Selene calendar, and basically like everything, you know, primarily finances, work reporting, value tracking will all be on the Selene calendar. It's a pretty big change, but I think that we can do it because it's the only way to go. The Gregorian calendar is just not the plan. Public launch, my hope is that we, you know, that we prepare and are able to launch publicly, and that our next Venus session will be all over social media, and you know, potentially, you know, have like 30+ people and 3 to 4 groups at the next Venus session. I think it's very possible, if not even more than that. And lastly, political. I want to see us get political, get more political. I want to see our parallel governance programs implemented more, et cetera, and then prepare for you know, future elections and other aspects of decision-making systems, global decision-making systems. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me, at least for now. I want to just mention that Abdul is the only person here who's actually been involved with our parallel governance programs, and Abdul did a great job on it. So I want to thank you for that, Abdul, and hope you'll be more involved in that as well.
Great work.
So I want to take another proposal now.
Yeah.
Master ledger also. It's possible, and also bill.
Did you say bills and exa? What is it?
Two things. One is I want to help on master ledger also.
Okay, so let's add you to the master ledger. Where is that? Value tracking master ledger. Okay, cool.
And another one is the bill. I think we have a project on bills, right?
Yes, bills is a project.
So
and we definitely need help with it.
On that, yes.
Bills is very similar to payroll. So with payroll, we pay people. With bills, we pay organizations. So it's pretty much the same thing as paying people, except you're paying all the bills of the organizations that go to other companies that do work for us, you know, different types of work. So, you know, what is the goal though? The goal for the bills is to have all of our bills organized and updated regularly, so we don't miss them. Great, thank you. Asif, your turn.
Yeah, actually, I would like to, work on a couple of things like money and securities, bank relationships, and client relation. Yeah. So I'm very much looking towards money and securities and bank relation.
And then you also said client relations. I think that's up here already. Client management and relations.
Yeah. I will be working side to with Nelly if she allows.
So can you think of the goals? So money security, a goal would be to have all of our money secured and verified that it is secure with high level resilience. Does that make sense? As far as a goal, it's like, who cares to work like that? I'm trying to get you guys to understand the difference between just saying like, I want to work on bills or I want to work on money security. It doesn't matter that you want to work on it. You will accomplish nothing if you don't understand the goal. So the goal of money securities would be like to have all of our money secured and verified that it is secure at a high level of resilience is a goal. And if you don't understand the goal, you can't accomplish the responsibility. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Right. So it's pointless to just work on something just to work on it. You got to actually work towards something. So what about for bank relations? What would be the goal for bank relations?
Well, we need to have like perhaps more debit cards.
Yeah, great.
To be able to also have one account. I think right now we are using Paysa for other payments, right? So I don't know if we are going to get like one account or we're still going to use that one.
Okay, well, how about, like, that's really confusing, right? To be able to have an account, we are using payment, other payments, or need to get an account to use that. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. So a better way to frame that would be to have all of our accounts clear and organized so we know what we are using them for, and it makes sense, right? So that is a goal, right? We want to have clarity on all the accounts. We literally have 100 accounts that we're dealing with all over the world, and it's like, and for our clients and everything, it's insane the number of accounts and the bank relations and the verification, all of that. It's insane. So getting it all organized and clear is extremely important.
Yes.
And bank relations is actually a project. It's that much work. And every single bank, every single relationship we have with a single bank, and even each individual account is its own responsibility. So we literally, if we have 100 accounts, we have hundreds, potentially 100, 200 separate responsibilities, because every single account, every single bank is its own responsibility. Asif, anything else?
Yeah, Jay. I hope nobody will laugh. Jay, I want to be CEO of the company.
To be CEO of what company?
Of African community. Like all other member of board or something.
Okay, well, there is no direct CEO because we're not a company, right? So the FQN network is not a company. We are organized as a network, and specifically we're organized as a decentralized distributed network. The most closest thing we have to CEO is one, we do have companies that have CEOs. So you can be a CEO of one of the many organizations and companies that are within the network. Additionally, there's the center role. The centaur role is the role of in the center. So you have the network all around the network, and then you have the center of the network where everything comes in and out. That's the most central. That's the most. It's a facilitatory role. So with the CEO, you typically think of a CEO at the top, and then everything else is below it. With the center role, it's at the center, and everything else is around it. And the center is helping facilitate the entire organism to function at its highest potential. So if you're interested in that, we can certainly add you to that executive position.
Yeah, but obviously it's achievable, right? I mean, people do work and get achieved their targets, their goals, right?
Yeah, yeah, and there are technically positions that we are creating that are higher than all of these positions, but we won't go into there. That has to do with our global governance systems and things like that. But so FQN, we are building global governance models and global decision-making systems that will have positions that are much higher than anything within our network. So that's also something you might be interested. For example, you can represent your country, you can represent your continent, you can represent your, your sea. So there's a whole nother layer of public interaction and representation within our evolved democracy systems that we haven't even touched upon. Yeah. But anyways, that again, what you're talking about is going back. It's not a goal. What you're talking about is going back to our executive systems and adding you as a potential executive for our Centaur, CEO, president, other executive director positions of the different projects and organizations that we're doing. Okay.
Jay, we have 5 minutes from our next break.
Okay, I think it's good to just wrap up and then be done. Asif, anything else from you, Asif?
No, Jay, clear.
Cool. And in the technical project and positions here is what we call it's really coordination, right? It's really part of worker coordination. And then also processes and systems. And there's some other things that are related to that as well. All right, so let's go into checkouts. We're not going to do responsibility organizing, which is too bad, but everyone should watch the videos, should do it during their buddy teams, and we'll just have to keep pushing it. Maybe in the next one we'll do it, okay? So let's do checkouts.
Okay, guys, anyone can, proceed. Anyone can come up. Okay, Joyce, can you check out, please? Joyce?
Thank you very much for this session, Jay. As always.
I'm not the only one here, though.
Yeah. I mean, for training us and so my main facilitator. Thank you for, as always, we are learning much from you, and for every global sessions. And I hope that for the next 3 to 4 months, we will really have that actual realization of our goal for the next 3 to 4 months. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, Thomas, can you just check out, please? Thomas?
Okay, I'm sorry, I was talking when I admitted. So for me, I'm very excited for this session. And thank you all for attending the session. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Nelly, for the support and guiding us on the things to do. Thank you, Sif, and thank you everyone else. I'm so excited for today's day. So good night for those who are going to sleep, and good day for those who are there. So for me, it's a check.
Great.
Thank you, Thomas. Good. Okay, Nelly, please.
Yeah, I was very, very happy to be with you today. It's always nice to see all the team working together, brainstorming. It's very, very nice. I think we have a lot of work to do. That's what I don't like about these meetings. That we see that we have a lot to do. So I'm also glad for that, because we know where we need to go, and that's very important. So thank you all for this. Have a good night.
Night.
Okay, Abdul, can you just check out, please?
Yeah, sure. So from my side, it's a pretty good session. And enjoy this session also. Mostly speaking, that there was no conflict between Jay and me. I think the misunderstanding on our communication, and that's the thing. So I'm sorry for that situation there. I'm really sorry. So we need to move on our next goal and the other tasks and responsibilities. So that is my check. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Cool. And I just want to make sure it's really clear that for you, Abdul, like you are 100%, you know, like verified for your responsibility organizing. So, you know, you're back, you know, at level 4, like do whatever you need to do, work on all your responsibilities, go to all your things as normal, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and Zilu, we still want to verify you, and you should meet with either Lucy or Asif and make sure that you have been verified for the responsibility organizing, so that we know that you know how to do it. Okay.
Yes.
And oh no, Zilu's not here anymore. We lost him. Yeah. But yeah, Abdul, we got you covered. So and I know it was difficult. I think Steve said it best, where Steve said that, Jay, I thought you were going to explode, and I didn't quite think you would explode onto me, but I knew it was going to happen somewhere that you've been like holding things in, and you know, so much has not been getting done that I just knew you were going to explode. And it just so happened to be that Abdul was the person who was there at the time that I needed to just release. And so it sucks that it kind of happened when Abdul was there by himself or whatever, and also Zilu, but it's like, it could have been anybody, because we're all not meeting the expectations and the goals that we want to be achieving. So I apologize, and I think it might have just been by chance that it happened to be Abdul. I think that's basically what Steve was saying, that it was going to happen somewhere at some time with somebody, and it just happened to happen with Abdul. So hopefully we're moving on and everything will be fine. But if things do come up, let's address them as best as we can using all of our processes and systems, because we can pretty much do anything. And I'm really grateful for the session. I think we accomplished a lot. We keep doing more and more and more, and I think eventually we'll get to where we're trying to be, and hopefully within the next 3 to 4 months or sooner. And I wish someone was taking notes. Maybe I should write all this down myself. So let's see. What I said was, I basically, just to sum up, I'm saying that like that this was a good session, that I am confident that everything will move forward with me and Abdul and Zilu, and that I hope we will achieve all our goals and get stabilized. Cool. Asif?
Yeah, Lucy.
Okay. I'm really great to join this session, and I learn a lot. That's all. I'm okay. I'm going to remain to do barrel tracking.
Okay, now we have gone through a lot of things, a lot of visions, a lot of plannings, and from the very first day, which is tomorrow, I'll be starting on the achievements, what I have committed with the community, and hopefully that I'll achieve them within the set time. And I really, thank to Jay, who considered me and Lucy to have a part, to play a little part to get, Abdul back on track. And last thing I would say that Abdul is one of the most important and awesome person in our community, which no one has a doubt on it. And we really like him. We really, love to work with him. And as far as me, after Jay, it's not shame to say that after Jay, Abdul is my mentor who taught me most of the things in the community. So thank you, Jay, thank you, Abdul, and thank you everybody over here.
Yes, agreed. Thank you, Asif, 100%. So I think that's it. Did we miss anyone for checking out? Are we good? I think we're good. So the only other thing that could be helpful for Lucy and anyone who wants to help her with value tracking is that we do want to track when people left. So I don't think we did a very good job of tracking. So we know that some people came late. So Zilu came late, but then we know that people left early. So we should track better, who left early, right? Who left?
Yeah.
And when? So this would be like Steve left maybe at 1 hour before. Zilu maybe was 0.5 hours before. Aline left like 0.5 hours before, right? Aline. Or maybe even maybe Steve was an hour and a half and everyone else was an hour. I don't know, but we should track that better. Okay.
Yeah, for Steve is half an hour. I don't know the others people, maybe it's an hour.
Oh yeah, Asif Razu, when did he leave? He left a long time ago, right?
Asif Razu is like 1 hour, maybe 30 minutes.
He left before Steve, didn't he? Like 2 hours early?
Yeah.
I think he was only here for like an hour, and the whole thing was 3.5 hours, right? So total time 3.5 hours. Total time 3.5 hours.
And also Albina.
Oh yeah, Albina left early as well. When did she leave? Like 2 hours early?
I don't know if Abigail is here.
No, Abigail didn't show up.
No, he's not there.
Oh.
Is Albina left before Razu or what?
I don't know, but I think they left around the same time.
I think Abdul, you are with Albina.
Yes, I think Albina left 1 hour ago.
Okay.
Albina left after Steve or before Steve?
Before Steve. Before Steve. Okay, after Steve. Okay.
No, Lucy, she was after Steve. She was after.
Okay.
Albina.
Okay.
Albina's 1 hour. So
1 hour.
Steve was about 1.5 hours, and then Zilu, Aline, Albina was 1 hour, and then Asif was 2 hours. Okay. Cool.
They have a proposal on that, so I think we should be having somebody who to check on who have left and who is on.
I usually do that. I think only today I thought maybe someone is doing. I usually make sure I see who is not there, who left.
Yeah, I mean, it would be part of the note taking and timekeeping stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. Coolio. All right. Well, I think that we are good. I'll go through some of the participation credits, but other than that, I think everything's done. Thank you, everyone.
And also the multiplication of points, Jay.
Yeah, those are the participation credits.
Okay.
Yeah, was anyone here working on a computer besides me, Lucy, Joyce? Nelly, you're working on a computer?
Of course, always.
No, not always. What did you do on the computer?
I put the documents that you asked me to add to the
Oh yeah, so you added a document. Okay, so I mean,
Yeah,
you
do
did
the
it.
responsibilities and the responsibilities in spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that's very, very minor compared to 3.5 hours. Maybe you put in like 5 or 10 minutes on the computer, but you know, people can be working on the computer the whole time and supporting the session and help taking notes and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Like, so some people, they might be on their computer, but if they just use it for voice communication, they're not actually using their computer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, I think I did use my computer as a runner.
As a runner?
You did not use a computer?
Say again?
I think I used my computer as a runner.
As a runner, a little bit, yeah. But it's still, you could have done way more, right? So the idea is that if people were actively engaged, they can be writing things down and engaging their computer and like helping with notes. I mean, there's no reason why everyone can't be doing that. All right, so I think that we are good. I think we're done.
All right, thank
yeah.
you. Have a good night. I'm
cool.
falling asleep.
I know, it's like, oh my God.
It's almost 4 a.m. here.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, oh, that's the other thing that we didn't track. Is
times 2.
Yeah, we didn't track well what the timing of people's work.
Yeah, that's the one I was saying.
So Steve is 2x. Nelly is 2x. 2x middle of night. I am 1.75x because I started before it got late. Maybe even 1.75x. Anyone else? Is that it?
And if someone is late, a runner, did you give that person a point?
Yeah, that would be a position, definitely. Yeah.
How many points should be given to that person?
It would be time. So Thomas was the runner from for an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? So he was running back and forth and doing all that work. So for the whole time he was doing that, he would be the runner. So it's time based. Yeah.
So for like example, for Thomas, how many hours should we give him?
I mean, I think it was like 1.5 to 2 hours that he was the runner.
Okay.
All right. So was anyone here up in the middle of the night, or is it just me, Steve, and Nelly? All right. I think it's just me, Steve, and Nelly. Okay.
Just you guys.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm leaving.
Okay. Good night.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you for coming. Bye.
I think those who did not use computer, we have Len, Zilu, Asivrazu.
Yeah.
Bye guys. I need to go now.
All right. Bye.
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 What about Abdul?
What about Abdul?
Did he use computer?
Not really. I mean, I'll update all of these. It's perfectly fine. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think I was a runner for 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Two
So
times,
make sure to add Asif as a runner because he was the other runner.
Okay.
And you might want to check to see if people were taking notes in the other group. Like Lucy was in this group, so she only knows that Joyce was taking notes. So yeah,
Albina was there. After Albina, I was making the.
Yeah. So Albina and Asif also get some points for note taking in the other group for a couple hours. So make sure I'm not missing this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So do we have 12 people? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jay, Steve told me to send some kind of mail. What mail it was?
What?
Steve told to send some email to him.
I don't remember.
Do you
what it
remember?
was. No, I can't remember.
Oh, okay, I'll just message him.
You remember?
Who is working while tracking with me?
Yeah, it's me, Lucy. I'll be with you.
Yeah, and I'm helping out with the time participation, and then I gotta go to bed.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you finish it, we'll start it up.
Yes, start now. Why? What are you waiting for?
Okay, Lucy.
Yeah, you don't need to wait for me. I'm doing just one part of it.
Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll just get a glass of water and I'll be back. Just 1 minute.
Okay.
Jay, is it correct?
What?
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Times 1, then 9 p.m. to 12 midnight times 1.5. 12 midnight to 6 a.m. is times 2. Then 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. times 1.5.
Yes, that's the correct.
Okay.
Jay-Z, you take a note for how many cars?
Yes, Lucy.
You take note for how many hours?
I don't know. Let Jay decide the
I mean, I think she was taking notes the whole time, and she did a great job. So 3.5 hours, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What about Albina?
Albina, she was here for. She left a little early, so she left for an hour early. So it was
2 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then Asif did the last hour. So Asif did 1 hour of note taking.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. God bless you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
I think Jay, we need to add here 3 times per month because on list list of tasks and responsibilities, documenting, and verification of evaluation spreadsheet. On this doc, I think we need to add thrice per month, because this happened after 3 months. We cannot add on monthly, twice per month, or weekly.
Okay, I don't quite understand, but it sounds correct. That sounds good to me.
We have this list when we usually update our session that we have, especially main session. On this one.
Well, wait, can you start with just what you're talking about? Because you're just talking about it without telling me what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the master document updater.
Okay, master document updating, yeah, and?
Where should I place? We have monthly, weekly. Can I put 3 times per month?
How often do you do what? The master document updater happens per session. Every session you do master document updating. So it's part of our session verification.
Okay.
So Asif.
Sir.
So with you and, well, mainly you, I want you to be involved in some of the numbers for your group, because I wasn't in your group, so I don't know how much participation some of the people who are in your group did. So you need to help fill that in. Okay?
Yeah, ask me. Yeah. Okay.
So like Abdul, for example, I know that he did some participation. I don't think he was really on his computer much, but he did some computer work. But
he was totally, involved in the, video indexing.
Oh, and he did all the video recording and everything and recording. Okay, so we'll give him a 3 on that. Yeah. And then what about Asif Razu?
Asif Razu didn't do anything particularly.
He didn't do much of anything. Okay, so I'll give him. I'm going to give Asif Razu a 1.5, or maybe I'll do I'll do 1.75. We'll give him a little more. Okay, so Abdul 3.5. 10.5. Lucy gets full credit. All right, Eileen.
Eileen was, silent. Because she was having a problem.
So sure, she didn't really have her audio.
Sorry, come again?
She didn't really have audio.
But she didn't speak much because she was having some kind of throat infection.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah. So Eileen left an hour early, so that's 2.5 hours.
I don't know if Alan do this master video training indexing.
No, she didn't do anything.
I don't know. The Albina, all of them, they left early.
No. Albina did, note taking.
Yeah, they assigned themselves to do task responsibility verifier.
Okay, so how about Albina? Did she? She was doing some note taking, right? So she was here 2 hours, and she did note taking. Was fully involved, right? So 2.5 hours times 3 is 7.5 session credits. And Thomas was pretty involved. I think he gets a full And he was here for the full time, right? 3.5 hours. I think people are getting more involved over time, because I remember having sessions back in the day where there'd be like 3 people involved and 10 people who did nothing the whole session, you know?
Okay.
And this time people are definitely way more involved than they have been in the past. This is great. Doing good. And over time we're going to see
what I working on. Sorry.
Asif, are you there?
Okay.
You back?
Yeah, yes.
What are you working on?
I was helping Jay, and now I've started my work.
Okay, cool. I'm
just
done.
check that.
I'm done with the position credits, so I'm gonna move on. I definitely did not do any timekeeping. I did a little note taking, maybe like 2 hours. And the time, attendance, I was early, and I get 3 points there. And facilitations. And then I did, what are we doing right now? We're doing session value tracking. I did 0.5 hours there.
Steve was totally, I think, Steve is done attendance, time, facilitation, note taking, and training. No, but he didn't do note taking.
No, I don't think Steve did note taking.
No, he didn't. So I will remove this note taking. And Nelly was on facilitation. No, Nelly was not on facilitation.
You always copy on those one, it will help you. Then it is gonna be easier. Session position, I just put each and every 1 point. What? Oh, we didn't see. Oh, timekeeper, that was Nelly. Jay, how much should you give someone for timekeeping?
I mean, it really depends on how much time they put into it. I would say usually it's per time. Like Nelly probably gets points. I would give her like 7, 8 points, maybe even 10, but that would be the max. Like 7, I think is fine. 8, is good.
8 points.
Yeah, because it's basically the number of times that she did the timekeeping, right? So.
Yeah.
It could be 8, 9, 10, even 10 points is fine. If you think about it, 10 points is equal to about an hour. So you could do 12, 15 points as well, and then that gives a little more than an hour, So, if you did like 15 points, it would be worth about an hour, hour and a half. But timekeeping isn't, you don't really do timekeeping constantly, but, it just depends. If someone does really, really good at timekeeping and they're literally on it, which Nelly was not, I would give them the full 3 hours, but she wasn't on it to the level that we had of the expectation.
And Joyce was full 3 hours note taking, right?
3.5, yeah. She did note taking the whole time.
3.5, yeah.
And then there was some things that she missed. I mean, we could just give her 3 hours because she did miss some things, and I was doing note taking sometimes that she wasn't. So
can be 3 hours.
Yeah, you can do 3 hours. It's fine.
Yeah, it was okay. Who is this Asif Iqbal? Okay, I don't remember this guy.
All right, guys. I think you guys can handle the rest of this. We did an excellent job. I can't wait till we do the actual session or like the team equity and value tracking and the daily equity spreadsheets. Like, you guys are going to see that all this work that we do for the session value tracking is actually going to turn into something very, very powerful. So when we get to that, it'll be really good. But good night, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.